and further taxation this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable. Members, imagine you're on this platform, uko hapo chini unatusikiza na utaki kutap-tap, hauja to follow, hautap-tap. So rest up. Tunasema government bloggers wako huko nje. They are campaigning for finance bill. Ni kama wao wamepatiwa, wameisoma. Ukipanda hapa kama hujafikiwa, it's good to mute. Yeah. Aya. So, guys, kama uko hapa, au tap, au comment. Alan.
I heard one of the members of parliament complaining that there's a certain document circulating outside with the details of the finance bill 2025. Now, which one is this they are talking about? So, meaning saying that the original one they have with them in the parliament. Now the one circulating outside is, which one is this now?
All I can comment there to answer you, my brother. This is the kind of misinformation I've said that we need to be careful about this time round, because you know those who are in leadership positions in government, in parliament, will always defend the government position, however bad it is. Therefore, they are trying to disseminate this information that is in the public domain already about the proposals in the Finance Bill 2025, that it's non-existent. But indeed, as time goes by, we will come to interrogate that document and we'll come to see that there are further taxes that have been proposed. Therefore, that should be expected. The information that you had from members like Junet and the rest, it should be expected because they are defending the government position and the bread base. Thank you.
Hawk. Members, it's good to tap the screen if you are here. Ndo maana nasema utupe maoni yako hapo chini, ama pia ututapie screen, ama pia utugift ili live yetu ikuwe active. Haya, Prosik. It's good you mute guys, mpaka ufikiwe. Toro.
Okay. Thank you very much. Kuna vitu sisi tunaangalia, lakini viongozi tu anafaidika na vitu analetanga kwa kiroho, kwa sababu ukiona vitu mingi sana finance bill tumefikiri hapa kiroho mambo ya finance bill tumeisha. Sasa finance bill sasa atasaidia nini huyu Mkenya? Atasaidia nini huyu mnyonge? Hana hata ndudu. Sasa viongozi analeta kitu yenye anafaidika yenyewe. Leaders anafaidika, lakini mnyonge haifaidiki na hiyo kitu ameletewa. Yaani sijui hawa viongozi anaketi chini, analala, sijui anakosa usingizi ndio akuja afanye hiyo kitendo. Kwa sababu ukiona hawa MPs anadiscuss kitu, kwa sababu hawa anakula kiapo, anakulipa pesa kidogo ndio adiscuss kitu nothing. Badala kusikiza about your issues ya wa Kenya citizens people. Sijui hiyo 2027 tutatoa aje hawa watu, kwa sababu amezidi. Badala tukuangalia hawa watu wako jini, tutasaidia aje, tutaikirua aje, tutapush namna gani hawa watu wako jini. Hako huko kulipwa pesa kidogo MB. Yani MBs tu hakuna kitu wana discuss about wa citizen wa people of Kenya, about your issues. Every generation we are coming to maandamano. Kwa nini ha discuss hiyo issues? Kwa nini ha listen about those generation I was coming to every single day. I was coming to maandamano. Kwa sababu hawa anataka haki yao, lakini government anapiga, anaua hawa generation. Kwa sababu hawa leaders ni kusema, kwa sababu hawa hakuna do. Hawa watu wenye hana kitu, hana hata ndururu. Hawa ni nani anaweza saidia hawa wa Kenya? Ni mtu gani anasaidia Wakenya akuje na roho mzuri kusaidia kuinua Wakenya? Hawa watu yenye ako chini. Amenyanyaswa for a long time. Watu wamekaliwa kama chapati bwana. Na hawa viongozi anaingia huko tu kudiscuss kitu nothing. Yani zero. Ana promise watu hapa ground na hafanyi kazi. Ukiona vitu nyingi anatendeka kwa hiyo Kenya. Sisi wanyonge, sisi kama wanyonge haifatiki. Unaona Ruto alikuja na kitu naitwa share. Na sisi tuna watu wengi sana anaweka pesa zao wakati unjue ugonjwa unakuja automatically, yani huwezi jua. Lakini Ruto amekuja na kitu naitwa share. Na hata wewe ukienda kuconfirm hiyo kitu haifanyi kazi. Nasema tuambiana hapa ukweli. Shida ya Kenya, yani shida ya Wakenya ni shida ya hawezi mnyonge, hata kwa mashishi hawezi baitia microphone. Kwa nini? Hata kwa mashishi hawezi kuongea kwa sababu yeye hana kitu. Hana kusikiza yenye hata huyo mtu anafikia siku gani kusikizwa hizo maneno zake. Anafika siku gani viongozi listen about huyo mtu hana kitu. Yani sisi tunanyooka tu, tunanyooka vile tunaona. Yani sisi tuko uchi. Wacha nitoe hiyo watu wengi hapa. Yani wacha nikwambie, sisi hatuna nguo kwa sababu viongozi ametoa nguo zetu. Sisi hatuna maana ya kuona. Kwa sababu yani wewe unacheka lakini mtu unaona huyu mtu hana hata nguo. Lakini wewe unanyanyasa huyu mtu badala utafutie hata kitu kidogo bwana. Lazima tuongee. Hiyo finance bill ni support. Finance bill lazima haangushe chini vile tuliandamana hiyo. Lazima awajena. Na hawa viongozi na lazima hawa ajue Wakenya hawezi upepo fala for a long time watu bwana. Tuketi chini tuangalie kwa sababu sisi tuna discuss kitu hatuwezi saidia sisi. Tuketi chini bwana tuangalie about hiyo ni shida na hii issue ni sisi tunakaramia hiyo issue. Viongozi hawezi karamia. Ushaona kiongozi akiwa analala njaa. Ushaona watoto wa mheshimiwa akiandamana kwa maandamano. Ushaona watoto wa Raila. Ushaona watoto wa Ruto anaandamana kwa njia. Watoto wa Wanyonga anatokea na hasa kila siku anaandamana kwa sababu anatoka kwa sababu yeye amenyanyaswa. Kama anaweza sikizwa au hawezi sikizwa for a long time bwana. Tunakaliwa hapa kama chapati na sisi tunatumiwa hapa vibaya na hatuna mahali kuangalia. Hiyo ni wakati wetu kuona hawa viongozi haifai kukalia hiyo kiti tena. Lazima tufukuze. Tutengeneze chama yetu tunaitwa fukuza hawa wote. Kwa sababu wezi discuss about from January una discuss kitu moja bwana. Hawezi saidia Mkenya, hawezi saidia na siku 2027 unarudi ground kuomba kura. Na unajua kufanya kitu yoyote ground. Yani kazi yao yani Ruto sijui anafanya nini na hii government. Kwa sababu hii government ya Ruto, government hawezi saidia Mkenya. Government ya hiyo Ruto tangu 2022 akalie hiyo kiti. Hiyo sisi hajawahi faitika na hii government. Government yani sisi tunafaitika hatuna kiburi. Yani kiburi ni nyingi kwa hii government. Fitisho ni nyingi. Ukiongea leo kesho utauawa. Kesho utauawa kwa nini? Kwa sababu anajua huyu mtu anaongea ukweli. Kwa nini Ruto anaua hawa wa generation anaandamana kwa maandamano? Kwa sababu anajua hawa watu wanapigania haki yao. Lazima tukue na human right. Kwa sababu sisi hatuna human right kwa hii Kenya. Ukiongea sasa kesho utauliwa. Kwa nini? Hawa viongozi hatuna, yani kuona huyu mtu ako chini hana hata ndururu. So lazima hata sauti zao asikizane. Kwa sababu gani? Anajua huyu mtu anasema kweli kwa sababu amenyanyaswa for a long time. Na hawa viongozi na hawa lazima sisi kama wanyonge lazima tuketi chini tukue kitu kimoja. To open the eyes kuangalia hiyo ni nini bwana. Hiyo ni nini tunabeba fala for a long time. Na sisi hatuoni mtu anapatia ana collect each person around 200 ama 2000 Kenya shilling. Lakini unatetea mtu alafu umeagree kitu na huyo mtu. Lakini huyo mtu hakuagree kitu. So yeye haifatiki. So ako hapa haku opposition. Every single day ananyanyaswa kwa sababu huyu mtu ana support tu kwa sababu yeye amepatiwa kitu kidogo. Hiyo atetewe huyo kiongozi. Nasema tu learn na hiyo kiongozi 2027 kwa sababu hata kiongozi yako hakufanya kazi hata MCA 2027 tufukuza hao. ile tuone kiburi zao atakuwa huko ground ama hakuna. Kwa sababu mtu amekuwa kiburi kwa sababu hakuna hela nyingi. Anapatia polisi pesa kidogo ndio polisi akuja abductiwe. Yani kesho utauawa kwa sababu mmeongea ukweli. Na lazima tuongee ukweli. Shida ya hii Kenya ni ukweli. Ukiongea ukweli unauawa kesho. Na lazima tulan na tuache siasa vinafiki. Hauna muhimu yake. Hakuna kudiscuss about hiyo issues tunaangalia, yani hiyo sisi tunaangalia hiyo issues mpaka 2027. Na hakuna kitu tunalana hapa. Lazima tuketi chini tuangalie hiyo kitu. Na lazima finance bill tumefikiria, tumewaja mambo ya finance bill. So tuko hapa badala tujipanga hapa 2027. Tunaona saa hii tumebakisha kitu 2026 peke yake ndio tuelekee election bwana. Na sisi tunadiscuss, wajana MPs discuss huko. Sisi tudiscuss hapa maskini. Watu hana kitu, hana ndururu. Tudiscuss kitu yenye anasaidiana hapa. Tuongee ukweli bwana. Na lazima tuongee.
Thank you.
Lazima tuongee. Kwa sababu sisi wanyonge hatuna ndururu bwana. Sisi tunatembea, sisi tunalala njaa. Na wewe sikizanwa. Kesho ukiongea kesho utawao. Kwa nini bwana? Lazima tugeti chini. Sisi tumevakisha kitu moja. Tuko na opportunity kuangalia hiyo kiongozi huyu anafaa kuruti, huyu haifai kuruti. Kitu kaa hiyo bwana. Tudiscuss bwana. Anatuambia hapa ukweli. Tuseme ukweli kulingana na ukweli. Kwa sababu sisi hawezi sikizana.
Asante Toro.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Haya. That's so nice. That's good injection. Keep tapping. Members, if you are on this platform, tunasema usiku hapa utapu comment. Uko hapa gift. So wacha tuone pia maoni yako. Hapa tunachangianga Kenya. So lazima uko unafanya kitu hapa. It's about our country Kenya. Ninaona watu ni wengi sana wako hapa. And sijajua maoni yenu kuhusiana na hizi sura zenye ziko hapa. Na mnipei maoni pia, na nataka pia kusikia kuhusiana na hawa wenye mnaona hapa. If yes, it's true. Hamniambii hapo chini pia hata mcomment. Mniambie mambo ya Matiang'i, Kalonzo, Martha, Gachagua, Muturi, ule huyu mtu wa nini mwenye Mukisa Kitui. Na wengine usikumbuki ni akina nani. Naona tu wenye wako hapa. Nataka kusikia maoni yenu nyinyi wa Kenya kuhusiana na hao watu pia. Tukiendelea kuzungumza kuhusu finance bill na kuulizana uongozi wa vijana una nafasi hii Kenya ama ni wazee kwa wazee. Pia ni gumzo nataka tukue nayo hapa tukiendelea. Kama wewe ni upinzani, hii timu ya upinzani iko hapa, ni vizuri pia utuambie kama wewe uko kwa hiyo team. Kama wewe uko kwa sasa Gen Z wenye wanashangaa ni Okiya Mtata team Maraga, wanataka waone ama kuna kitu hapo pia, ni vizuri tusikie. Ama wewe ni Waruto ABB. Na pia don't forget tunazungumzia finance bill 2025, tunaona imefika bunge, so na hit tuju tumeona au mabloggers wa government washaanza kuikampenia, so tukataka kuulizana. Yes, good evening. This is Dark Media, home of civic education, sauti ni ya Mkenya. Twende kwa Sharif, alafu tusikie Honorable, tusikie Nick Med, Jack, alafu PM. Kila mtu dakika 2. That's the order of the day. Twende kazi. Sharif.
Habari ya jioni.
Kwema sana. What about you? Karibu.
Okay. Mimi nitaongelelea kuhusu hawa jamaa wenye wako hapa. So naona hapa Kalonzo, Matiang'i na hawa watu wote ni watu wenye wamekuwa kwa hii wanakuanga kwa government. Bado sisi Gen Z, sisi vijana hatujapata nafasi yetu hapa. Bado hawa ni viongozi tu, wale wakubwa wanajitafutia nafasi zao, hawaangalii maneno ya vijana, kwa sababu wakitengeneza coalition, kama ni coalition ya kutoa Ruto, hiyo peke yake haiwezi tusaidia. Ni watoe Ruto na watupe solution yenye Kenya itaendelea bila Mkenya yoyote kuumia. Na kitu kingine ni about hii finance bill. Hii bado tutarudi tu kwa street. Hatuwezi spare Ruto. Hatumpi nafasi. Ni hayo tu.
Right. Can I proceed? I hope mnanisikia.
Ilikuwa tani yangu ama unataka kwenda mbele kwanza?
Oh, okay. Owen, sawa. Owen, endelea.
Mimi comment kwa the group wenye Dawaki umeweka hapo picha yao, ni yangu tu is I'll use just a few words and be brief. Ni wako na haki na ya kidemokrasia kusimama, lakini swali ni watatoa shida Kenya na ambao vijana wali na Wakenya wengine hapana, kwa sababu wataendeleza tu napinga na how we wish them well in their quest. For Finance Bill 2025, mi ningependa kusema it's an improvement from the previous one. I'm happy hawajahusisha IMF, how they will roll out it has saved a lot of Kenyans from new taxes being introduced as a result suggestion IMF. That is one. Another thing that I saw so far nimeona with the current finance bill is your issue pension. Yes, if it passes, it means if any Kenyan amefikia retirement age ama 5 years and above, ataka withdraw pension yake, ata withdraw and it will not be taxed, which is a plus. If I marry it na bill Didmas Baraza alipitisha pensioners to receive their money within 3-6 months, retirees are a lot in the country when you suffer waiting for their pensions the longest time. Another thing furahisha is the proposed construction referral level 6 hospital, the Bungoma, and I think Kericho. If they go there, 10 million Kenyans that in the Western Circuit of thrift, which is a plus. So mine should always be pro people in everything that they who put them in that position, and they're supposed to serve our interest, not their own. So they should be considerate at all times, and moving forward, they should keep just doing that. Thank you.
Okay, Owen, wacha nikianza tu na wasalimia nyote. Wacha Owen nianze kukuuliza tu swali kwa vile umechangia. Swali nauliza kama kila mwaka tunapanda, we increase in terms of our budget from one year to the other. How else can you convince Kenyans kwamba hatuendi kuongeza ushuru, yet we have to fund that budget that has been proposed. Unaona, hilo ni swali. But then as you ponder on that question, one thing I want to contribute, wacha nianzie hiyo finance bill. This time around we must ensure that we take our time, we interrogate, tusome kila kitu, tuelewe what is in the finance bill. But one thing we must caution ourselves ni kwamba hawa viongozi ambao wako bungeni, the likes of Junet, the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah na kina Osoro, mnajua kwamba kazi yao ni kutetea serikali. Na kwa hivyo if they are defending government, they cannot tell you anything negative about the finance bill or the merits of the merits of the finance bill, unless you yourself as a Kenyan, you take time to interrogate, read and understand. But one thing I'm sure is that there are taxes that obviously have been proposed so as to fund this 4-point-something trillion budget. Kwa hivyo lazima tuwe makini, kama basi tabidi tuende the same way we went the other time, well and good. Then I want to commend one of us here, anaitwa Tiffy. Naona anauliza swali nzuri sana kwamba about hata ile documentary ya BBC haijapoa, bado hawajasoma chochote. So therefore we must really stay our ground, tuseme ya kwamba lazima to ensure ya kwamba maisha, yani ile budget ambayo imekuwa proposed ina favor mwananchi. Lastly, I want to comment briefly on the photo that has been put here by the host. Hawa viongozi ambao ni wamejiunga pamoja, the current upinzani. I can only say kwamba just like any other Kenyan, your guess is as good as mine. Mtu akishafukuzwa kwa serikali, akishatoka ataenda wapi? Wanasiasa hawataki kwenda nyumbani. Wanasiasa lazima wakutane kona fulani wapange mambo yao. Kwa hivyo the first thing we must take note is that these are politicians who are actually looking at their interests first before they even think of our interests. But say, be it as it may, I must also say kwamba the question we're asking ourselves is, or we must ask ourselves, is there a saint in this country? Is there a saint in politics who will come and then we say, we've got a saint, now we're going to, our life is going to be bearable? I mean, it's not possible, because even if a saint was to come, definitely they'll work with this other group that ambao wamechafuka, they are tainted, and therefore msitu ni ule ule. So the only thing we must do is to ensure that at least for those ones, beginning from grassroots, just like Toroskak has said, that we must ensure from MCA, from governor, MP, and women rep, and even our senators, those ones we are going to elect, God willing, in 2027, we ensure that they are upright people who are willing and ready to deliver. We can assess, we can do the sieving tuchunge vizuri, ili wale viongozi tutachagua to make sure kwamba ni viongozi ambao wanaweza kufanyia kazi. But currently as it is, wale ambao wako, umeona ile pesa wananunuliwa kidogo, wanapitisha kitu hata bila kusoma. Ukiona mbunge kama sahi anaanza kucomment, anasema eti hii finance bill ni mzuri, iko na kila kitu mzuri, msianze kupinga na kueneza porojo, ni kumaanisha kwamba wako na they are living in fear, because they know that what is in store, what is in that finance bill does not favor the common mwananchi. Kwa hivyo lazima watetee uongo wao, na kwa hivyo lazima tuwe very cautious about all these leaders. But haimaanishi kwamba kama hao viongozi, hii picha iko hapa, haimaanishi kwamba hakuna mmoja ambaye tunaweza sema kwamba amekuwa na track record. Na sitaki kutaja mtu, nyinyi mnajua kuna wale viongozi wamekuwa, hawa wote wamekuwa ofisini in different capacities. We know their abilities, we know their failures, but there are those who have been in office, when they have been for the time they have been in office, they have delivered, They have done a good job, and therefore we must commend them. And if they seek for further approval by Kenyans to serve them, then that's upon Kenyans. Thank you so much.
Should I respond to your question?
Also treated them in a cruel, inhuman, and degrading manner. They also claimed that they were illegally and indiscriminately arrested by police on the orders of the then IG of police. The judge not only found that the IG acted in excess of his powers, he also awarded the 11 petitioners 2.2 million shillings, 100,000 shillings each for general damages, and 100,000 shillings as exemplary damages. Judge Mwamuye also dealt the police and the executive another blow when he ordered that all police officers deployed to maintain law and order during demonstrations or any other assembly must be in uniform with their faces clearly visible. The Law Society of Kenya had sued an officer alleged to be behind the killing of a protester, Rex Masai. LSK, in its suit, had argued that all instances of murder and police brutality during the demonstrations were linked to officers who had no identification and who wore no police uniforms. LSK argued that the incognito appearances of police officers enabled them to blend in with peaceful protesters who were exercising their constitutional rights. Brenda Wanga, Citizen T.
Jack.
Yes. Can I talk?
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
sorry.
Then tukuje kwa Nick Med. Guys, wengine wenye tuko hapa mnaweza tuma request. We still got 3 more boxes and pia tutap tap tuende 15k. Kila mtu apiga screen. Yes, Jack, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hope guys umeshinda vizuri. Ningependa kuanza na hii serikali walai imetupeleka mbaya sana hii this round. I don't know what to say even, but if I may start, nikianza na the head of the state ni President William Ruto, and he's the president, so right now hatuwezi sema hatuna president, but naweza sema since the finance bill ile ya 2024 sahi it's only 1 month tuingie ya June, na nikisema kweli this guy had never hajawahi fanya kitu like this guy. Ukitafuta hata track records zake yenye amefanya development, there's nothing that inaweza furahisha mwananchi. Even if he was talking about his stuff ya affordable house, since then affordable house ngapi imetengenezwa, wangapi wamekuwa allocated kwa hiyo house, wangapi wameisha hapo, even there's nothing. So hata hii finance bill ya 2025 hata kikuja, I cannot see any progress we can go. Vile tu umesema like nyani pia ni wale hata misitu ikibadilishwa bado tabia ya nyani inakuwa tu hiyo tu bado. Na even if like this finance bill inakuja, the same people wenye walikuwa like hiyo time ilikuwa napitishwa wenye walikuwa tu hapo already like hiyo 2024 like ministers, the intelligence akina Nurdin Haji and those people in your parliament. Ukiangalia those people are the same people when you walikuwa wana vote yes and they know really like this thing ni burden kwetu, but hoping sijaona hiyo finance bill na sijaona any leakage ya hiyo finance bill ikitolewa, lakini naweza sema like I'm hoping good for all of us as a nation. Sisi wote like hiyo kitu itufaidisha like ikuwe tu inatufitu vizuri, and this like Nurdin Haji like last time he saw the blood on the street and he's still pushing like hiyo finance bill ipite. Look at those people we have elected like our MPs. Sometimes I just stay like this and I say there's no role that like these people are playing. They are just there and wanapata allowance zao, wanapata mshahara zao na wanaishia, and at the end of the day hata hata wakipata like let's say e-finance bill, like a bill is brought to the parliament, wow, they are rigged, wanapewa pesa, they don't want to know anything, like hii kitu inawezasaidia mwananchi kweli? They doesn't care, like wow, kama life yao iko sorted, they doesn't care. Hawa ndo kiongozi yenye sisi tumewaamini tukawatrust, like hawa watu watatutetea, like takuwa na maisha poa, like maisha ni ile ile, nothing moves, kila kitu iko pale, and the same bill tena inakuja kuletwa kwa, it is tabled at the parliament, but you remember those people wenye wanakuja kupiga kura kupitisha, these people wananunuliwa na pesa bana. And the worst thing is that tuna employ those people wenye kwa government, and the president himself anatumia resources zote, like pesa, manpower, everything to make sure like yeye amejifaidisha, lakini mwananchi wa kawaida atakuwa anaendelea tu kwa anaishi tu kwa hiyo tabu na hawezi badilika, like maisha yake inakuwa tu hapo. If you see like records za huyu jamaa, like everything unashangaa, nothing is moving, wallahi, I can just say like that. And the other thing I want to speak about now, viongozi wenye walikuwa wameuliza, and these people, they are the opposition. You know, kuna msemo inasemanga, the same head that is moving is attached to the tail. Let's say this, watu tuseme hawa watu ni tail, and we say like Raila ni head. Whenever that guy follows, is the same place like hata mkia inafuata. So I don't think like our opposition wanaweza make a difference even if we decide to follow on the other side. But personally, mimi niko mali ya Gen Z, and I never decided on this, like huu ndo kiongozi wangu 2027. This person, like I never make your decision. But as for me, like hata kama watu ni opposition, they never oversee like the government in power. In fact, I don't know, I never seen any difference there. But hata ukiangalia like Gachagua is there, and this guy, he was just alikuwa ameimpeachwa from the government, and he's trying to use wave ya Gen Z to make sure like ako kwa government still. So let's guys, tusikuwe wave ya kusukuma mtu akuwe kwa government. And nimesema I hoping finance bill itakuwa inatufavor hawa watu wakiwa kama they are not rigged, or they are not in their favor. That's my hope, and thank you. Hiyo ndio nilikuwa nataka kusema.
Asante sana Jack. Habari ya kila mtu. Ningetaka kuzungumzia jambo moja. It's very basic what I'm going to talk about. Asante sana host for giving us this opportunity to, talk about what is happening within our economy. But here's the deal. Unless and until that time, ordinary citizens understand the essence of the government. What is the purpose of the government? Why do we need government? Until that person, that ordinary person, mwenye anapiga kura, understand that serikali is not a thing that is there to control us. It is a thing that we use to attain only those things that we cannot be able to do for ourselves. For example, mimi siwezi jengea, mimi ni Mkikuyu kutoka Embu. Siwezi jengea barabara kutoka Embu kwenda Mombasa. Siwezi jijengea barabara kutoka Embu kwenda Kisumu. But as a collective, as Kenya, we can be able to build a road that comes from Mombasa, passes through Embu, Nairobi, Embu, then goes to Kisumu. That's one. Another thing is mass education. Things like, building of dams, things that really cost too much. The purpose of the government is to help us build or get things that we cannot do on our own at individual level. For example, registration of persons and properties, kutupatia ID, passports, title deeds, logbooks, making laws. I cannot, if I make laws, they're going just to suit me. But as a nation, we need a body that is going to make laws that covers everybody. In other words, unless and until that time, an ordinary mwananchi understand that we call the government doesn't exist unless we say it should exist. We all have the right to live our own life without having to depend on the government. But the only reason why we depend on it is because there are those things, like we cannot do for ourselves. That's very important. And once we are able to separate that, then the government will change. We will switch roles to where the government will stop saying we the government. No, you are nothing. You are just my agents. You are just a group of people that I pay taxes in order for you guys to operate, to give me what I cannot be able to give myself. But we have come together as a collective in order for you guys to exist. You did not come together, then we came. No, you came because we need you. You don't exist without us. That's the moment ordinary mwananchi understand that. Hakuna mwanasiasa atasimama pale mbele ya watu inagoubaga kusema ini hata amunilipi, mimi nalipwa na serikali. What do you mean unalipwa na serikali? Who is serikali? We need that to get, and that is why we are insisting. Come 2027, the most important thing that we need to pay attention to is how much education are we going to infuse into ordinary Kenyans. Most of us understand, that concept. But there is a group of people who are yet to realize that serikali, hata hizo laws, hata hizo magari kubwa wanaendesha, wanaendesha kwa sababu nataka wanihudumie. And that is the main difference between a government and those companies in Safaricom and those other companies, private companies, Mabati, Rolling Mills, Devki and all that. The government, I have a stake in there as a taxpayer. I don't have a stake at Safaricom. I don't have a stake at Devki or East African breweries. I don't. And that is why the government should not be talking to me, talking at me like I'm nothing. Even those soldiers that killed, Gen Z protesters, the gun they are using, the uniform they are wearing, mishahara wakienda nyumbani, ile mishahara anaenda kuangalia kwa bank, ni sisi tunawalipa, and yet they are killing us. It is out of absolute ignorance and misunderstanding that they are in a separate cocoon. No, that cocoon, we have the right to dismantle it and remold it. We the people, constitutionally and logically, still have the power. So even when they are constituting, like now they're just about to come up, with them. They're still working on the Finance Bill 2025. They shouldn't think like it is a bill they are going to take to somewhere in Algeria or South Africa to get some loan or money. No, they're going to try to dig deeper into our pockets. But the question is, what are they doing with the little they already have? So I throw this unto you. In whoever you talk to, remind them, the government, those are agencies, our own agencies. The reason why you cannot buy that beer or cigarette or that petroleum at half the price is because of the element of taxation. So the government should not be yelling at you. They should be asking you, hey, what do you think? Do you think we are doing good with the little that you already gave us? Now that we are doing good, if you gave us a little bit more, we could do better. But unless and until that time, I am convinced you are doing good with the little you are already, the much that you are already taking, because it is too much. I don't see the reason why you should be even daring coming to me to ask me for more in form of taxation, because I barely can see what you're doing with the little. And a very good example is, in conclusion, without taking much of your time, we need to maintain a simple standard of understanding what the government should be doing. And what the government should be doing is only, and I repeat this, the government should only be doing those things that we are not able to do for ourselves. Primary, secondary education, fully funding, college, university, mtu apate loan. We are going to guarantee lower interest rates, but ukope pesa, wewe ni mtu mzima, ukope pesa, uende shule, college, uende university, ukimaliza, you're going to find out that we have fixed the economy. You'll be able to get a job and you'll be able to pay that money back, because it is going to have maybe 2 or 3% interest rate. That's one. Number two, the government should get out of things that it doesn't know how to do. For example, things like subsidizing things like milk, get out of coffee industry, get out of tea industry, get out of miraa industry, get out of things that the government doesn't know how to do. Leave it to us. We can be able to manage our coffee, our tea, just like our maize. Don't even get out of maize. I don't even see the need why we have NCPB. Those are the jobs that the government is holding on. Get out of KQ. Kata KQ, kama ni kusota, wacha isote, isote, tuiuzie mtu ambaye atainunua, be able to merge with another airline. Well, most of us don't even travel with it anyway. It's just siphoning money out of our national coffers. Finally, we are looking at 2027. We have prospective candidates. Most of them are telling us what they are going to do, but I'll tell you this much. Anybody who is telling you almost, albeit closely to what they are going to do to the letter, that's not the person to elect. The person that should be elected is the person who is going to listen to us, what we want. For example, we are going, so anybody who tells us he's going to work on roads, fix our roads, all are going to be all weather passable, or somebody who says, I'm going to fund education fully, or I'm going to make sure passports and, those things, title deeds, I'm going to eliminate the elements of double title deeds for the same parcel of land. I can listen to that kind of person. But anybody who says specifically that they are going to create 1 million jobs are not created jobs. Excuse me. Yeah, jobs are a consequence of good economic policies. It's going to be tough. Most of the guys I'm looking at here.
Salimia watu wanatulecture hapa for 1 hour bana.
Uko wapi wewe? Hautaki kuchukua nafasi, but it's good to
watu wengine wamegeuka ma preacher. So how can we have a conversation while some people are preaching, man?
I'm concluding. Finally, what I'm saying
No.
Don't listen to.
Keep tapping. Kama uko hapa tutap after Hal Icon. Tony, you can take over. You can give a Nick Med. Nick Med amekuwa hapa for long. Alafu now Tony, you can take over the program. Ukaribisha Jerry and George. Keep tapping. Kama uko hapa, share the live. Twende kazi. Nick Med.
I want us yes, host. I want to talk about some stuff, and I want members of the panel to react. Ndio ikuwe interactive, ikuwe exciting, everybody changie. Tusiende through monologue. Ati kila mtu anaongea kitu anafikiria na ende in all that rant. Like everybody around 2 minutes, you rotate 2 minutes, then inakuwa a bit interesting and interactive. So a number of topics umeandika hapa hivyo, then another ones I'd like to bring what happened during the week and the last week. So number one, there was a BBC documentary ili feature what happened last year, 2024, between 20th June to 25th June, but mostly listened on 25th June. The BBC documentary. Then tunila government ilienda ikandikia producers wa BBC in the UK and not to air that documentary in the Kenyan mainstream television media. So, but eventually the BBC stuck to their gun and they put it on the YouTube, and all of us at least tumeshaka hapo hivyo tumeiona. So I'd like to hear from members their reaction to that documentary, what they learned, and the lesson ama the agitation that they are going to take going forward. On that BBC expose on what happened on June 25th. So the work specifically, I want us to focus on why were KDF actively involved. Unajua for a very long time tumejua KDF is a very disciplined force. Tuliona KDF for the first time, mmoja wao alishikwa on camera akishoot mtu alishoot nani Shieni. So how do members react to that information? I was surprised. I thought our KDF were not involved in this thing. They went on the street. They were doing PR. They were just sindikiza watu nyumbani. So there's a lot of things that happened. Even the assertion that Meguna said on X that there were a lot of young men and women that were shot in Githurai. Na walikuwa walitongaje? Walikuwa incinerated kitu kama hiyo. Their body should not be discovered. That's why unaona Ruto akienda kwa interview aliulizwa a lot of people are dead, then aliulizwa where is their body. So the government knew that if there is no evidence of the body and then there is no case, that's why unajipata mbona the ile dam yenye watu wanapatikana wengi, they were majorly women. Where did men go to? So it means that men were walikuwa turned, then women were thrown on the on the dump site, ile dump site. So how do members react to that information? Then secondly, I want members to react to the formation on your screen. We see Gachagua, we see Martha Karua, we see Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiang'i, we see Eugene Wamalwa, and all the other people you can see. So these are likely the second force of politics. So is this the solution going forward? Are these the people who are who covers our aspiration and understanding of what we want as a country? So these are the discussion like I want us to focus in a very small way, in a very interactive conversation. So first, react to the BBC documentary and what you've learned from it and how you want maybe justice going forward, or things that were done better going forward. And the next thing, you can react to the formation there on your screen. Are these the answer? Are these the ultimate team that are going to take Ruto home and deliver Kenya to prosperity, to the change that we went on the street for? Now these are the two big conversations. I'd like to open the mic to the members of the panel.
All right. Can I talk? Yes, George. Let's start with Nick. Let's start with Nick. Then George.
So Nick. No, let me start. And Nick, in that order. So let's give Nick microphone, and Nick just concentrate on the two questions. Due to see you open this scope so much, then you give your contribution on the same. Thank you.
Fine. So my name is Nixon. Having watched the documentary yesterday, I think first of all it was regrettable for lives lost.
Yes, Tony. Tony, kitu yenye tunasema ni
Yes.
Tony, kitu tunasema ni hii serikali yenye tuko nayo hii tumechoka kama sisi kama GNC.
Okay, who is speaking?
Unaona?
George, George,
Tumechoka na hii
George,
serikali.
can you wait? George, kindly, Nick is on the microphone and you are in a very noisy place. Kindly get a quiet place and let Nick finish contribution, then you can chime in. It's Nick's opportunity to speak. Nick, go ahead. Your time begins now.
Hey, George, bana, relax. So first of all, kwa documentary, the first thing we have to do will be great. Life were lost. Life of innocent Kenyans were lost. That is quite unregrettable. And then the second thing, what we learn from that thing is going forward, we should at least the government should now normalize this thing, like police officers should have uniforms as per the court ruling today. And I acknowledge that in case of any demonstration, we should have police wearing their full police uniforms. Then on this thing of Rigathi Gachagua and those people on the thing when you wanna appear, first of all, I don't think Rigathi Gachagua, Fred Matiang'i, and the likes of Linturi, Mutika Linturi, the other guy is called Justin Muturi. I don't think these people are the right face to replace President Ruto. For example, a guy like Rigathi Gachagua. Gachagua is a tribalist, an exclusionist. Like, how do we intend to replace someone like Rigathi Gachagua, or to replace Gachagua to replace President Ruto? Then look at Fred Matiang'i. Matiang'i has two sides. For example, he has a bad legacy during as a CS for Interior. Many bodies of Kenyans were found in Rivayala, others were just being thrown everywhere. Are these people we want to replace with President Ruto? Then I don't think these people wanted to replace President Ruto. Anyway, then coming on, am I supposed to talk about finance bill? Tony?
Can hear you loud and clear. Again.
Can I talk a little bit about finance bill?
No, okay, I think we're coming next to finance bill. Let's give members on the two topics. Umeshaongea about the BBC and the Gen Z effect on 2024. You spoke about the leaders on your screen. Then I think after we conclude this one, then we'll go to the finance bill and the content and what Kenya should expect. So let's keep it simple, then we rotate the microphone. So we'd like to hear from Jack Paro or something. Jack, the microphone is yours.
Okay, thank you. Yesterday, I just watched the documentary that was released by the BBC, the British Broadcast Corporation in Africa, and I learned something like, though the documentary was very heartbreaking, like when you watch that documentary, seems like it's very heart touching. Like you can't. It's very hard to control like your emotion. Like you feel like just crying because you see like those people you have went with them on the street, and remember, like when those people are voting yes, and they know very well like that finance bill was not good for Kenyans. It's a burden to everyone. Though those who are inside the parliament, who usually their life is not the same as those who are in the ground. So they are voting yes, and the bloodshed is still continuing on the ground, and people are saying no, 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 no. People are rejecting, and still they are just voting yes. It's a very sad. But the guy, like that guy who is called Babowino, I think that man is brave, because that guy is the only guy who overjumped the gate and talked to the Gen Z, and he said like he's with them. And actually, he even voted no for the financial bill because he understands well like this thing is a burden to everyone. And I was asking myself, how is it that a security officer, like a KDF, like a police, carrying a rifle full of bullets on the street, only to make sure like those people are being killed, and they are just being like the blood is being on the floor, and they're just shooting, and the same person is the one with whom we are paying the salary to. When we pay taxes, usually it goes to their pocket, because it's like the government is to provide goods and services. So we buy the goods and services, including the security. And this guy, instead of providing security to us, they are against us. And I was thinking, how is it that possible? Like when the BBC I think the intelligence service for the broadcast, what do you call BBC, who are making the investigation in those security offices. They were told they have no right to do such and such investigation, regardless of their security officers who have committed such a crime in the street. You see, now it's like this thing was just being planned, and walikuwa wanasema like sisi hatuelewi, like this man is a ADF, this is a police, this is a JSU. Like walikuwa wanasema hatuwezi kuwa recognized, so they just took an action. And even when you see that that video, the guy who was killed, Shieni, he was not running toward the bullet. Actually, he was running away from the bullet. And thank God that guy didn't get so many people on because when you come to that video, there's a point at the gate where everyone got stuck, and the guy was just shooting and shooting and shooting. Though it didn't get everyone, some were injured, but that guy, he didn't have hakuwa like na moyo poa, like his intention si kuua mtu mmoja, is to kill all those people wenye wamekuwa crowded, though the smoke ilikuwa na feature. So that's I think we need to learn something from that, because even the security officers we are employing, they are not good for us. We as an Africans, money can convince us easily. I think we need to look at that, and we don't need to trust any security officers who is sent to control the protests, because it's not fair, because those people are carrying. Yeah. And I had already talked about those who are in the picture, and I think Nick Meda talked about these guys called Matiangi, Madakarua, and Yashago. I think you have mentioned a lot about them, and that's my point. Thank you so much.
Question for you, Jack, before you retreat, you give the mic. I want to be a little bit of a devil advocate in this organization. So in this story, I've been reading comments of people who are supporting government. So my question directly to you: where is the boundary between state security and the order, and allowing for rights which are protected in the constitution. Because one argument is, while there was some peaceful protests, then there were also rowdy elements who were maybe looting, who maybe brought a bit force that was not necessary to the police and everything. So maybe everything is escalated. So where is the boundary, and what is the balance, ama logic behind these arguments? Do you support it, ama do you think human rights are core? In fact, the first thing that should be protected, maybe it's human rights, then maybe property. How do you view it in your assertion?
Who's supposed to answer?
I think maybe Nick, you can answer that, then Jack will come. So this is a second question just concerning on the discussion of today.
Okay, so me, I think human rights supersedes the other thing, but in the sense that let's look at it in this perspective. For example, we have peaceful protesters, then we have I heard the president saying the bad actors who are just after looting and destroying property. So at times it becomes very difficult for law enforcement officers to identify the bad actors and then from genuine protesters. So sometimes it is very thin. There is a very thin line there to identify those things. So sometimes I think we should just enforce arrest instead of firing guns. At the same time, when you know those guys who are approaching the parliament, I think to some extent also they were. I hope parliament is one of the protected areas, if I'm not wrong. So invading a protected area also it's a very risky, because those guys manning around there are supposed to.
Nick,
Yes.
what does the constitution say about protected area? And can you define to me what is a protected area? What is it protected from? And what are the how does it how does it override the need for accountability, the need for public scrutiny, and the need of state security? Kitu kama hiyo. Tunasianga this word inakuanga overused. Protected area. What exactly is it a protected what exactly is a protected area, and what are the game plan? What is the game plan again in how people operate in this thing, protected area? And what is exactly is protected in the protected area? Is it what or who?
So, for example, let's say for example, state house is one of the protected areas. So, for any person to go in that to trespass that area, you must be unafaa ukuwe allowed. I don't know exactly what they are protecting, but I think it's just in terms of the lives of the people or the thing they are kept around there. So constitutionally, trespassing a protected area, unaweza pikwa risasi. That's what I know. But in terms of balancing between the human rights and that, I think the constitution is very clear. If the constitution allows that you should not trespass the protected area, then what if now you trespass? What are the repercussions of you trespassing? Are you allowed?
So Mike, is it a rule in the constitution, or is it a security order? Because we need to be very clear. There are some people, this word is used, I think is a largely colonial. I don't think it's in our constitution, because I believe a protected area should be in a protection of someone or something. I want to give you an example. If you go to around Lavington, there's the DOD area where they have mounted walls, and it's declared a protected zone. That one is very clear in your mind. This is a military zone. There are military equipment which cannot be allowed for ordinary citizen. There's good reason why it should be protected. But now, where there are public servants, like Parliament, State House, county assemblies, governor's office, why would this thing be protected area? What are they protecting it from? And what is the boundary between access to state official and ensuring moderate security when they deliver their functionality? I want it, maybe if there's a proper law in the constitution or in the acts of law that we have in our parliament.
On that, I honestly don't know the exact thing that these people are. I don't know what exactly they are termed, but it's in the law. It is in the law. For example, can someone else?
Jack, you can chime in anytime you want to jump into answer any part of that question. Then I think after that we'll give Ruth to bring his median speech or contribution on the discussion we had. You can maybe chime in, Jack, and help you whenever you're ready. So Nick, go ahead while Jack is preparing. Jack has asked for some few minutes. Nick, you can go ahead.
I think in terms of explaining the protected area, it is proving somehow difficult because I honestly don't understand why they are protected. They are termed protected areas, but it is actually it has a law. It's a law. For example, when it's an act titled the protected areas. For example, it says as a respect protected areas, if as respects any area, place, or premises, it appears to be a cabinet secretary to be necessary or expedient in the Tony, can someone else try to answer that here?
I'm following you. So let's welcome Ruth. Then next Kevin will speak. Ruth, karibu. Can you open your microphone? We talk kidogo. So thank you. Let me just give you a summary of the question that I was asking members. Number one, I want you to give your views, very unbiased, or whichever way you want to give it, on the issue of the documentary of BBC. What was your thought? What have you learned? What are your takeaways from it? What did you observe? So in that order. Then the second question will be the picture you see on your screen, the members there. Now, these people have been in power in one shape or form. Now they've come together and opposing the current administration, maybe the broad-based government. Are these the alternative? Is this the way we should go? Are they competent? Do they have the answer of what we went on the street for? So that's the summary of the two questions that we're asking on this session today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. For me, I'll start about employment and about the young generation, the Gen Zs. For them, what is taking them to the street is lack of employment. And if you are not employed, you don't have any type of income. I think even us right now, we are straining. We are not like we have enough jobs back home. So what is taking them to the streets is about jobs. And with this, I'm talking, I'll go to the picture, what we are seeing on the picture. The Gen Zs, if you bring these people again to the government, is we don't have options. It's the only option we have right now. If we come back in 2032, maybe we have like 10 years from now. We can come up with something like the people who are getting in, we make them give back to the community, like creating employment. If you have your salon, the tax money people are paying. If you didn't make any profit, they give you some money for your salon or the barber shop you have. You as a grocery, you have your grocery, you are given some money to put on your grocery shop. That one you are creating is like you are empowering them. Saizi Gen Z ako tu kwa simu. Me as a parent, mtoto the whole day ako kwa simu. The money she is using on the internet is what you are giving her. Going to the street, anashindwa hata yeye atafanya nini? There is no employment. Hakuna, amesoma, ameenda university, kila kitu ako nayo. Na hiyo kosa amefanya is something that amesoma for 4 years, but amekuja amekaa kwa nyumba. So the next thing is going to do is going to the street. Amesikia kuna nini? Kuna it's called what? There's a maandamano about the government. Najua hata yeye ako hiyo government haimsaidia, ataenda tu. Lakini ikikuwa eti umesoma, unaemployiwa kulingana na vile umesoma, I think we'll create a lot of employment back home. The other thing is about the BBC documentary. Oh, there was someone who said about tribalism. Kwa hii group, all of them, kuna mtu tu anaangalia hii picha anaona there is no one from our tribe. There is no one. Mwingine anaona, mwingine anasema hakuna mwingine. So tribalism in Kenya is always there. So kwanza tuweke mambo ya tribalism kando. It is always there. I don't know how we are going to tackle that. It's a problem which should end. Tukae tukisema this is Kenya like me. I need a government that will work for mwananchi. I think saa zingine hata ukiwalk through the street unaonanga bega, hautakai kujua ni tribe gani, unatoa tu pesa unampatia. But if we keep saying this is from our tribe, tunafaa tujue who is working for us. Saizi hatuna option. Mimi nikiona hii groups for now iko sawa. But 2032 we need to go back and see, and from when they get to the office we start seeing what they are doing and also making those small changes like our tax money. Hizi tax money yetu yote ni yao wanakula. And also hakuna pesa inarudi kwa mwananchi. Companies ni kufungwa zinafungwa. Ukifungua kampuni ndio huyo mtu wa KRA ameambiwa pale kuna duka mpya imefunguliwa, enda uangalie kama huwa analipa tax. So ni kama wanakufrustrate usifanye kazi na bado wanataka hiyo tax money bado inaenda up kwa mifuko yao. So it's very difficult to even have a job or get employment back home.
Ruth, I have a follow-up question. Sorry, you'll also answer the BBC. Let me just have a follow-up question on the people in front of your screen. Martha Karua, Kalonzo, Matiang'i, Eugene Wamalwa, Gachagua, and the rest. So, the question is twofold. Is it that anybody apart from Ruto or Raila is a better option? That's one angle of the question. Number two, being presented with an alternative that is not in front of your screen. Maybe people like Maraga and Okiya Mtata. If they have a very formidable political organization, will you consider them? In case in the area that you want a proper change, you want to do it properly.
Kwa hii group kwanza, ukiangalia hii tu hivi, afadhali ungeweka zote picha hapa mbili tuwaone. But you need a big team to win. You need to have a members like a supporting team in everything. So for this, me I'm seeing the number is many, but kila mtu ako na kasoro yake. You can't say they are the good people. The other ones they are like 80% much better than this, because some of these they have been to government. So the other one may be much better than this one.
Tony,
I'm
can I also add on that?
No. No, Ruth was finishing. Let Ruth finish, then I think
Okay,
we'll rotate
about
the
the
mic.
BBC documentary, me as a parent, inanitake time kuangalia hiyo video because I want to have a lot of time, and also iko na huruma mingi ya kuona vijana wadogo wakiuao. It's not anyway, sijaiona, but it's hard for me as a parent, but I'm going to watch it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth, so
John
much.
Mo, nimekuwa na huku. John Mo, kwanza hiyo breakfast inastahili mimi nianza kutoanga na wewe. Anyway, that aside, kama uko hapa bona utap. Kama uko hapa bona utake kubonyeza na pia ushare. It's 9:55 and mimi nilikuwa nimeuliza kuhusu finance bill. Tonio so is here. Ameput maswali kadhaa hapo katikati. Mimi nauliza hii 2025 unaona venye bloggers wa government wamechangamkia hiyo kitu kuanza kukampeni. So tulikuwa tunaulizana mbona wanakampenia? Haya, mbona wanaipea nguvu hivi? Tukiweka hiyo kando, pia tulikuwa tunazungumza sura ambazo mnaona hapo. Are they fit? Ama mnaona pia wao tuwafagie? Ikuwe hii ni wakati 2027 ni wakati wa kupeleka kila mtu ashaikuwa kwa nafasi za uongozi, ashaikuwa MP, ashaikuwa nini, ashikane na Ruto, wote tuwafagie mpaka nyumbani.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes, Dawaka, hatujasikia from Kevin. Kevin tumsikie kidogo, then ndio turudi kwa Nick. I think Nick akona opinion, hata Jack baada jonge.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity once again. Good evening, guys.
Evening to you, sir. Welcome.
Now, let me start with the picture in front. The picture in front, me, by the way, I don't know how we Kenyans we think. You know, somebody come and pretend like now is a saint, while we know all their background. This is what even happened to Kasongo. He came through the church and he brainwashed us and we thought he was a good person. Now this is what's happening with this group we have here in the front. That the people who are in those pictures, all those people, there is nobody who have the people of Kenya interest at first. These people are serving their personal interest. Nobody. These politicians who are there in the picture are just serving their own interest. That once they get this power, they will invite the same friends, their friends, to power. Somebody like Kalonzo Musyoka anaishi kwa shamba ya NYS huko kwao, aliiba, aligrab hiyo shamba. Somebody like Matiang'i, Ruaraka land, 2.something billion. Wakati tena walikuwa wanatoka kwa siasa, tena wakakuja wakaiba Central Bank, wakabeba pesa yote wakaweka kwa ndege. Kila mtu ulikuwa unaulizwa unataka upelekwe wapi. Wamunyoro ndiye alikuwa anaongea hizi vitu, sio mimi. Martha Karua nowadays pretend like an activist, a saint. Well, she's the lady who made this country to go through, I can't even talk about it, in 2007.
Hiyo ni ujinga mnakuanga nayo. Kila Martha Karua sasa mlikuwa mnataka present nani? When Orengo si alikuwa hapo hiyo time na yeye alikuwa na present mzee. Kila mtu alikuwa agent wake. Even if it's your time, mimi your propaganda huwa sitakangi kuisikia because that's a fact. Martha alikuwa agent wa Kibaki. Orengo alikuwa agent wa Raila.
That war, that we needed peace, that we need to stand with the truth, that the truth was supposed to be spoken.
I think it's only where you come from. Those are the only people who complain about Martha.
Now, the people in that picture, all of them are not politicians. These are thieves who should even be arrested and jailed. They are clueless, they are formless, they are leaderless, they don't have Kenya interest.
You've not finished the question that we asked. Tuliuliza mambo ya BBC documentary. Then there's the issue also to do with finance bill. So what are your thoughts? What are your reflections? Have you seen the documentary? What are your takeaways? Nick, over to you. Nani amedrop. Nick, over to you.
Fine, thank you. So you had asked about these guys, hawa watu wetu sasa. For me, I think we should not be discussing about to send Ruto at home. We should be discussing about the agenda. For example, as a country, tuko na madeni mingi, we have a lot of things we should be talking about. But for now, these people are only talking about sending Kasongo home. Now, sending Kasongo home is not the solution. We want solution. We want issue-based things. Now, look at the people like Riggy Gachagua. Riggy Gachagua is just Peter with the Ruto that alitumwa nyumbani. Look at the Justin Muturi. Justin Muturi pia alitumwa to home. So they are just bitter. We cannot be dealing with people when you are too bitter. They just want to revenge. They cannot use us to revenge against them. Look at this guy called the Mutika Linturi. Mutika Linturi was presided over the fake fertilizer scandal. Yenye wazazi wetu waliuziwa tongi feces, sand, whatever. So, given as you had indicated that given the options, for me, like for example, if I were provided with this picture, then with the Kia Omtata and David Maraka, for me, if those were the only options I have, I will definitely go for the David Maraka-led team as compared with this. However, the problem with these two gentlemen, they're good. They have contributed. For example, this guy called Okia Omtata has contributed largely in terms of litigations. Hizo cases mingi amefanya. But now, when it comes to forming a formidable team that will send, as you want to put it, that will send President Ruto at home, I don't think if these guys are just serious. They are still in their activism mentality that they are not serious. As per now, they should have formed a very formidable team. But up to that, Okia Omtata is just at exploratory. Ametengeneza hiyo committee exploratory and he's not serious. We don't know hata kama atakuwa kwa pilot. So, but let's see hapo mbele wenye watachipanga. But for me, I don't think these people wenye wako kwa hii photo hapa, they present a better team that it wants a better Kenya. I don't think these are just after revenge. They just want to revenge against Ruto. Others just want watu wanataka tu revenge. But for now we should be talking about
Tony.
Yes, Jerry.
Naweza ongeza kitu. Kuna huyu media, Dawak Media. Kuna huyo jamaa alikuwa anaongea alafu about Martha Karua.
Yes.
Then ukasema it is about where he comes from. I think if you want this group to continue, you should be neutral.
No. Jerry, Kelvin is a government blogger.
Unamwacha tu anaongea, then you will comment on it because unasikia tu his view. Because we know all these people, we know who is good. So what he's trying to say, listening is good, then you comment because you are the one who brought us here together. And juu ya hiyo nini about numbers, hiyo group ya Maraga inafaa kuwa na numbers. Ruto must go, lazima ikuwe na numbers. Unaweza ngangana alafu usikie hiyo chama imenunuliwa na Ruto tena imerudi upande ile. Na votes zetu ziko huko. So lazima kila timu ikuwe na numbers. Thank you.
Dawak, I have some comments before Nick aongee. I want to say something because I'm speaking from with first-hand information. So nataka nianze hivi. We made tulikuwa na event the other weekend inaitwa New Generation Aspirants. We did expressly invite Okia Omtata's team to the event because we are close to them. We are building friendship. Okia Omtata's team did not come. They did not comment. They did not acknowledge our letters. We did even send them private letters, and they did not come. So I'm surprised. I'm not even surprised nani Nick akisema that this team is not serious. You know me, I'm surprised. Mimi nikiangalia Okia Omtata, I'm looking at someone mwenye ako strong, anapenda nchi yake, anaweza form the next government. I'm still surprised why Okia Omtata is behaving that way, ako lukewarm, being that akona good reception on the ground. People are looking at him like ni mtu hayuko tainted, ni mtu anapeleka government kotini back and forth, ni mtu ana mean well. Why won't Okia Omtata form a formidable campaign team? And people are ready. People are volunteering. People kwa ofisi ya Okia Omtata day and night. Many people wametoka ofisi ya Okia Omtata from Caswell, from Nani Ngaji Morara, the rest. I've also passed through there before I went and formed my team. So why mbona kuna ile retention? Why mbona Okia Omtata anataka kufanya ile mambo ya exploratory team inaka kama activist? Unaenda kwa grounds, unataka kuongea na nani, unafanya town hall. A presidential candidate cannot sustain a campaign like that. So that one was really disturbing me. I don't know the reason. I don't know if there's fact, but that one really got me really surprised because I myself and my team, we got in touch with the Okia Omtata's team and they did not respond. So, so that one really got me really surprised. Because we did organize event and it's not the first event. We did organize events several ones. Sisi wakiorganize zao, sisi watu tunaenda tunakuwa in solidarity. Them they did not come. Now, I don't want to use this platform and this time to bash Okia Omtata because I believe you're on the same side. But that one I must mention because somebody else has mentioned and I must reflect on it. Why didn't they come? And why didn't they be in solidarity with us? Why
That's the problem with the team.
So why is Okia Omtata's team not coming to form the structure venye sisi tuna form? Mbona hawatafuti aspirants, they form a formidable team, waingie kwa chama ya NRA yenye Okia Omtata anavai nayo, they start proper ground politics. Why are we being hoodwinked with mambo za koti back and forth? Koti itakuchagua. What is the intention? We need to be serious now. Ruto is a ruthless politician and everybody knows that. Why, if you want a president, how do you expect to be elected? Is it through the courts? Is it through social media? Is it through groundwork, which is very important? And how do you want to reach the ground if hauna foot soldiers? Now, these are very important questions. We need to we need to ask ourselves. We need to ask this question. Tusiogope kuuliza hizi maswali. So that is the only concern I have. But for Maraga, I am seeing Maraga is even doing better. Maraga ametoka kwa ameingia kwa hii siasa juzi before najipronounce. Maraga is more visible than Okia Omtata and Maraga is more older. So this one and I believe if these two individuals wanaweza shikana and they get proper ground reach, waingie siasa, wasiogope, wasiongee ni kama wanaongea wana issue press statement. Unaenda pale, if government is wrong, you take a stand the way Jimmy Wanjigo always do, that Kenya kuna ODS debt and we are not going to pay it. Why don't we have this kind of leader? Because they are there. We can say they have not stolen. They have the integrity. We have seen their line of work. We have seen the choices they taken. Mbona tukitaka sasa tunaenda kunge the last minute tunapata watu kuna cold feet. What is happening? Yani tumefika place tunajiangalia tunaka like manze inaka Matiang'i na kina nani ndo they are our next option. It's like we are being boxed to support them. But deep down in our heart, we wanted to forgive water. We do a clean slate. So why is this alternative team so weak? Why don't they progress ahead? Are they some people project? That's why they don't want to push so hard. Or are they just weak naturally? If you are weak, you cannot be a leader. Politics and leadership does not work. Weak leadership, you must show muscle. You must put in work. So that is my really concern with that team. but nime digress kidogo. I want us to continue with the line of discussion. Hapo naye lazima tuchambane, tuambie na ukweli, because we want to remove this government, but haizi kwani the only way to remove this government is the people that kwa tunaona kwa screen, is the people like Matiang'i, the people like Gachagua and the nini. So yes, tunajua vizuri wanapinga Ruto and they are formidable, they have unlimited resources. But is there anything else they are coming with as a package? Do they have a proper ideology? Do they have a proper program in terms of manifesto or groundwork that they are going to do that is different than what this government is not doing? No, they don't have. But do we have people who are better than them that already wamesha declare? Yes, they are. But are they strong? They are not strong. They are weak. So what is the angle that what is it that now we are looking for? What is our option? Are we being boxed into two corners that kama uko hapa lazima kwa the other side?
Somebody just texted me.
Yes.
Tony, somebody just texted me that the team is Umaraga, Omtata, and Jimmy Wanjigi. I just got that message a few minutes ago.
That's a joke of the year.
So as Jimmy Wanjigi join, I want to tell them categorically, Jimmy Wanjigi is a man of any wheeler dealer. But Jimmy Wanjigi is more presidential material than both of them. He's more assertive, he's more assured. Anaonyesha leadership, anaonyesha composure. Yeye akiongea unaona the government wanatingika. Why do we have our candidate who we really love and we love? Yani tukuna the right choices, but sasa these people are not showing muscles, man. That is where we have
Wanjigi is a broker.
You see, Wanjigi is a broker, is a wheeler deal. Everybody knows that. But he's more presidential. He's more of a leader, akona muscle, akona stability, akona clarity of thought. He's not even a proper graduate. But
is he a broker or is he a businessman? Is he a broker?
Ukishasema wheeler dealer, if you say a wheeler dealer is both combination of a broker, is both combination of a shrewd businessman, is all that. So this
what
is
is
now
his crime?
the dilemma we have. No, crime Wanjigi ni mingi. If you want to go to Goldenberg, you'll trace the roots where Jimmy Wanjigi is an old cabal. If you go to Goldenberg and you look at how our military defense contracts were handled, you'll find Jimmy Wanjigi footprint all over the place.
Yes, including Mombasa, Nairobi SGR.
Yeah, these are facts. This one you cannot hide. Then uangalie ule mjama alikufa, ule mjama alikuwa anasema Ruto ndo kumua, the famous one. Wanapiga deal na gava.
Jacob Juma.
So this is not a secret. And Jacob Juma, Jimmy Wanjigi, same package. These people, they don't have industry. There's nothing they've invested. They're not the Manu Chandara. You know, Manu Chandara ukisema ni billionaire. Unza trace Unilever, you can trace hizo makampani zake. These people, they don't have any shit, but they are billionaire. Where did they get their money? Let's not lie to each other. So these are the choice where we are left with. And it's a very sad choice. That tuko hapa tunaangalia like we want to make change. Tuko kwa street. We have young people who are eager. They want Ruto gone. They want system change. But sasa tukiangalia mbele yetu, the only formidable team tunaangalia, mazee Gachagua, man. Damn. Unaangalia Martha Karua at least uko na hope na yeye. Unaona huyu Iron Lady at least ashai deliver, ni mtu ana maskandal mingi, she's quite a leader, quite powerful. Then you go ahead and look at Matiang'i. Wow, Matiang'i is the extreme. Let me tell you, Ruto is bad. I can assure you Ruto is bad and worse. Matiang'i sasa ni ule sasa ule akishika waya. Matiang'i is a double-edged sword. Matiang'i ataleta performance. Hakuna mtu atacheza kwa government yake, can assure you. Matiang'i is very thorough. Government yake itakuwa na mchezo. Atakuwa na hiyo efficiency ya Trump. Lakini ile side nyingine wale watu watampinga na wale watu agree na yeye. Be rest assured hapo watakuwa clamped hard. So do we want somebody like that? Because we've seen Ruto clamping down on the Gen Z on the street, people shooting them. And we have someone who is capable of doing that. Someone who is capable of really ignoring court orders. Someone who is capable of ignoring court orders. Do you know what that means as a president?
Tony, can I interject?
Yes. You can interject
You've
anytime,
said-
my brother.
You've said that Matiang'i is better than Ruto, but according to me, I think President Ruto has been a little bit lenient. Matiang'i is worse. That one is a dictator. For example, look at how he handled the issue during.
You cannot compare Ruto and Matiang'i. Wote ni wauaji.
Yes,
What?
but let me
Nick, get my point here. Get my point very clear. Ruto na Matiang'i, let me just get in, then you chime in. No, let me just finish so that we put a context. It's very, so I make it clear. This just take 20 seconds. Number one, okay. Matiang'i is more effective in terms of being a manager than William Ruto. That's a fact. We've seen what Matiang'i has done. We've seen what William Ruto has done during the years amekuwa mbunge na amekuwa hizo vitu zingine. You cannot compare, it's like day and night. Anyway, Matiang'i ameenda hata kama ni polisi, hata kama ni kwa ruthless, lakini you can see some sort of reforms because watu wana respect my authority yake. Ruto is not competent, he's not a manager. Matiang'i is a manager, that's the difference. Lakini sasa ni Matiang'i yeye ni more ruthless in terms of kama hakupendi na umemni. Si Ruto anajificha anatumia Faruk. Matiang'i doesn't fear you. He come for you straight. Anakuja nawe through the camera anakuambia you will not stay in this country. People like Meguna anakuambia you are Canadian, you will not stay in Kenya and you will go out. And we saw all what happened. So Matiang'i is a double-edged sword. Nani to the extreme. Matiang'i is the extreme of Ruto. Yani anaperform vizuri ameshinda Ruto. Na akiperform vibaya akiclap down on you is more ruthless. So Nick, you can give your statement. You can continue.
I wish watu wangeenda tu, youths tungeenda tutafute Raila, tumweke chini, tumwambie mzee fanya hivi, hii sasa hii maneno ya kusupport Ruto wachana nayo, na wewe ukuje tutafutie mtu mwenye sio Ruto na mwenye sio Matiang'i. Hii gari yote iko kwa picture hapo. Unaona Maraga is very good. Ile tu aache utoto mingi kulialia kwa kamera. But Maraga is very good. But these people like Omutata Umoja is the people who go to international countries, get money before akue senator. He was very busy at fighting for the nation while he was being sponsored by the Western country. Jim Wanjigi is a broker. Kenya sio kibanda ya sukuma that we need people to broke in between. No, those are not leaders. So, but they wacha nikwambie kitu. As per now, if Kenya want to change, the person who can only help us is Raila Amolo Odinga. Tumkalishe chini, tumsome kama mtoto. But hii siasa hii tunapiga saa hii, Ruto will get this thing.
Lazima mzee atuambie, sisi hatuwezi fanya.
Sisi we are confused. Kama watu wanaleta discussion ati Wanjigi, ati wamkia Mtata, ati sijui Matiang'i. Hii Kenya tunaelekea wapi?
What I'm sure, Kelvin,
if tomorrow
mzee ataamuka kama hasupport hii government, I'm sure wewe ndio utanipigia simu niambie fungua live.
That is true because I always subscribe to his ideologies. That one is true. You have not lied.
Lakini Kevin,
in fact unaona kesho Raila akitoka tu kwa serikali, all my points will change towards this regime.
Kevin.
Yes.
Let me tell you one thing. Raila Odinga is basically in this government basically for the sake of stabilizing the country. If Raila kama angejoin the government, I think we could be in a very different place. So as much as we are saying that
in fact even he's trying to use Oburu's family, Ruto is trying to use even Oburu's family to convince Mzee to support him.
But the issue
because Ruto is desperate. Ruto is too much desperate.
Ngojeni kwanza.
Bana ground kumwaka moto. It's only Raila can save them.
Let's go step by step. If Raila is powerful as Raila claimed to be, why is Raila not taking this government down and claiming the government? Because number one, a youth walishakona Ruto even escaped state house. We have those information. But now Raila aliona, instead of taking advantage and taking this government down yenye watu wataki, yeye alienda kai solidify. So if we are talking about an alternative, Raila is not there. We cannot consider him.
1982 coup. 1982 coup, that Raila tried. Not Raila tried, that Ezekiel Ochuka tried. Who really messed him up? Bana government, unaona huyu Ruto mwenye anacheka hapo hivyo, that person is the chief commander of armed forces. That person is too much powerful. Don't joke with William Ruto what he can do to the nation when he likes. Unaona sasa hii bado hii tunapiga story hapa. Ruto akiamua akae kwa kiti na chukue sword na afanye kinyo anafaa afanye like the president, is not Ruto that we know.
Nini hii anaweza fanya that
nikuulize
kwa katiba?
Kevin, nini ilishinda Ruto kufanya yenye Gen Z walifanya kwa street talk nini? So what was Raila shielding him from?
Let me tell you what Gen Z did. Gen Z bana, serikali walijaribu tu withdraw kidogo, otherwise Ruto angetoa tu order make to only one phone call. Gen Z parliament wangeona moto ile jawahi onekana.
Alikuwa shatoa order. Alikuwa shatoa order.
No, bado.
Gani?
IG Douglas was just taking his own orders and trying to do his own thing. But huyo William Ruto, the president,
tuliona na nini kwa BBC walitolewa
William Ruto. Just the seat itself, the president
walitolewa na nani? Military walitolewa na nani? Hao wenye tuliona kwa BBC.
You know, alileta military lakini akwambia nyinyi you people just roam around. But my friend, kama anaweza make order as a chief commander, Ruto make tu order tu kidogo hivi chini. Where? Bana, can you go to 1982 what happened bana? When General Nani alitoa order kidogo. Hii mlango kubwa hii na hii Thika Road na hii Jogo Road.
That's an old constitution, brother. That's an old constitution.
Well, do you know what we mean by the chief commander of all the armed forces?
Can you compare the power that the president had or a president had before the new constitution?
Kevin.
Yes.
Let me tell you one thing. According to the current 2010 constitution, the powers of the president are very limited. You cannot run the country the way you want. You must just strictly follow the law.
Let me tell you, nicknamed. This, I know very well that thing must go through the parliament and be debated and whatever. And even in 2024, that's what happened. President, when you are in a seat, that's why even in this parliament, you know why the parliament is not independent? Because of this executive power. Mobilizing this thing doesn't even take 1 minute for the minister of defense and whatever to do what? To come up with the motion, take it to parliament, and then it's being passed within when the country is in need and is in a state of emergency. Where? Don't joke with that seat of presidency. Musivaje is new constitution or whatever. Things can turn backside down, and we don't want our country to burn that way. Things can turn, things can change. It's not just about that constitution. People are saying, oh, new constitution. Hey, no, president nowadays doesn't have power. Wait and see. It's not easy. It's not simple that way. That's why Raila cannot take that action that we remove Ruto, that we do what? No, that person, unless otherwise Western countries intervene and does what. But kama ako hapa kwa kiti, that's why hata wakati alikuwa na impeach governor wakati Gen Z, Ruto took about 3 months without traveling. That if you are in your country and in that seat, you are powerful. Umejua ukienda huko nje ya country unaweza ambiwa bwana sasa usirudi Kenya, wewe we have overthrown you and somebody has taken on. But kama ako hapa Kenya hapa State House hapa, jaribu kucheza na hiyo presidency seat, ujue the true color. That's why people like
Kevin agree na wewe. Kevin agree na wewe, lakini tena tuna disagree in this way. I don't think Ruto is a clever person. Ruto also wants to anataka power beyond the time alikuwa na 2024. Ruto wants to be power. We have a constitution yenye iko na safeguard ina to protect. I know presidents wako na limit, wanaweza ribu constitution wafanye nini, lakini kuna zile limit wanaweza engage nayo. For example, you see Uhuru venye Ruto alishinda, Uhuru did not actively seek Ruto to transfer power. But I think after a while, it dawned on him that there is nothing he could do. Ruto has already won and had been confirmed constitutionally. So ndio nakwambia, this is our constitution, even though people look at it as if it's a weak document, it's in actual sense, it's a very strong document. In actual form, it's a very strong document. It's a living document that inapatia watu hizo mandate. Najua wewe bado kuna ile feeling ya nini, ile ya the old constitutional order.
No, the new one.
I understand wewe kuna ile feeling ya the old constitutional order.
Uhuru was very weak. Uhuru hakuwa anapetaka kelele. Uhuru yeye ukimwambia baba tuende tukapige katoto huku atatoka. Ukimwambia baba tufanye hivi, Uhuru hatakuwa anapenda kelele. Ndio maana hii Ruto alikuwa amesema vile mtu apendi kelele, nitampigia kelele mpaka ati. Uhuru akiona kitu inataka watu wanataka kuvurutana, hiyo kitu anaacha roho safi, anasema hapana, mimi sijafika hapo. With this is Catholic whatsoever believe and whatsoever that you know what, mimi ni mtu nakula sacrament, I need to do what, so blah 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 blah. Uhuru was very soft. Ruto is not of that character. You remember Ruto walking into State House, anapata Uhuru amekunywa pombe, alafu Uhuru anamwambia bwana tuache tu hii kitu bwana, iende tu bwana, turudi kwa election. Ruto alimwangalia karibu ampige makofi. Ilitumika wakati wa nini? Kina Jonete walitumia hiyo wakati wa campaign. Ruto anasema nilimwangalia huyu jamaa karibu nimweke kofi. Sisi tumeenda huko tumekampeni, alafu unakuja unatuambia ati sisi tuache hii kiti yende. Ruto is not that a soft guy. Ruto is not the person you think, and that person understand his role as the president. Anaweza chukua hiyo sword aweke hapa chini, and the discipline forces are to obey the chief commander. You don't ask why, how, and what. You will take action. So let us not think that Ruto must go. Ruto should be what? It's not easy as we think. That's a precedent setting in that chair. That's why he's telling you, even the campaign of Ruto 2026 and 2027, Baba, mobilization will be very simple. When a president walks somewhere like what Uhuru used to do, you go somewhere, Kibicho could organize wars, everything within 1 minute. People have been transported. Watu wamevaa koti, wamekaa hapo hivi kwa kiti nini. This is a president. Tukiongea maneno ya Ruto, msimwangalie, he is not a common man. He is not raia. Yeye sio raia. Sometimes he can use his sword to rule this nation. Sometimes he can use his sword to rule this nation.
Members the microphone.
Kevin, you know,
Kevin, let's give other members the microphone, then watch the discussion.
Sometimes, Kevin, you are trying to give so much power, and then you say Raila is there now. You see, Raila, how can Raila has lost the ground now? There's no Raila. The Raila who we had, he has no that in it. You're going to move around campaigning for Ruto. Ruto is wasting time. He can, and we are telling him, he can bring even police from Uganda, even Museveni himself, to try shoot people who are against him. But at the end of the day, so he can do whatever he wants. And the other thing I would like to tell you is this: we don't care, even if we want to take out the mashambas and everything, because already he had the intention. Kevin, you know very well. Ruto didn't want to be a president alone. He wanted to be worth than more than Uhuru, than even Raila himself. He just wants to be rich, to be number one. That's his intention. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about me. And even Baba, he doesn't care about anything. He thought Raila Tam's idea, but he's just, I saw him addressing today at the university. He was like confused, very mad. So he has lost the ground. So he has nothing. And we thank God that some of the people are now silent. And Kevin, I'm telling you, people who are silent, you never know what they're going to do.
So some of them are silent. Even the agency you are talking about, the shoot and killing. People are silent and waiting. You will see what's going to happen.
Royal boy. Royal boy.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't think I think you are making assumption that President Ruto has lost the ground. This guy has his own supporters. You cannot just rule out that he has lost the ground based on the noise you are hearing on social media. I think you should do some further research. Then you will come
My brother, don't just put the assumption when Ruto goes somewhere and then people are being paid to attend the meeting and you say yes, a ground. Tuongoje mambo mwamuzi wakati
The challenge
voting
in
day, you will see
the
surprises.
challenge in votes, the challenge in the 4.5 challenge in votes is intact.
Current right now.
Can
I
we
mean,
can
let
we
me ask
can we give
let me
a
ask you.
million.
can we give
Let
any?
me
We want to spread
let me
the
ask you,
microphone,
Kevin.
gentlemen. Ngojeni kidogo. We want
Let
to
me
spread
ask
the
you,
microphone.
Kevin.
Then tusikie kila mtu akiongea. Hata Kings hajatusalimia, hata Bravo hajatoa the second hajanini opinion yake ya pili. Let's hear from everybody.
Let me just
Hata
make this
Mudhi
statement,
hajaongea,
then
Mudhi
I will,
ameingia saa
please,
hii.
for your kindness. You see, Kevin, you know very well, even Papa, when it comes to matters of this backyard, it's not, you can't touch it. But what do we see from Ruto? How can your people being shoot wako mashambani? They are shoot because of the shamba. And then you send Murkomen putting statement that are not good. And you say now, courage and behind by Ruto. I'm telling you.
This thing,
wait.
after 3 months
Let's
tutakuwa
just
tumesahau
wait,
hizi
Kelvin.
vitu.
Let's just wait.
Within 2 months ama
You'll be
1 month
surprised.
tutakuwa tumesahau hii kitu. It should not be point of discussion. Hii wiki within 1 week tutakuwa
No,
tumesahau.
Kevin.
By next
Kevin.
year
Yeah, that's
election,
the
we want to
Kevin,
lead this
Kevin,
thing.
No, and then
wait.
just within a week,
No.
let's wait.
Kevin,
Let's wait and see.
Kevin. Royal, thank you. Kevin, I want to call you to order. Kindly, I want to call you to order. We want to do politics, like we want also to do it ethically. We don't want you, Mr. Kevin, to minimize, belittle the life of human beings. We cannot have that discussion here. We can do politics. This is zingine. But life ya watu that were lost unnecessarily on the street, you cannot say that they can be forgotten within 2 months. That one is nonsensical. That one you cannot entertain in this platform. Hizo zingine tunaongea the whole day. We can agree to disagree. We are normal. But belittling life, human beings, that one we cannot do. We don't care who you support. We don't care about your point. I think I want you to be guided on that point, please.
Yes, and I've not talked about the lives that I'm just talking of what happened. I'm not talking about the life that was lost. I'm an activist, I'm a politician. I understand that life matter. I'm not talking about the life that was lost. I'm talking about just what happened. Just what happened. Okay? It's not about those people who are killed. It's not about just what happened in Angata. In 2 months time, vile sisi wa Kenya watu tunasahau haraka. Tutasahau and we will move on. Next year, 2026, we won't use that one into our campaign. It will be a very different story.
Watu Angata watasahau.
Hawa ndio wataanza kwanza kupigia Ruto. Those are nilots bwana. Wezi wacha kijana yenyu.
Yes, Tony.
Hizo vitu wachana nazo. Those are nilots.
Yes,
The nilots, Raila is a nilot, Ruto is a nilot. They will come together and do what they want.
Viewers, I wanted to give King's microphone, lakini Mwana King bada yuko ready. Muthi, you can chime over. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome to this discussion.
I think
we were talking, hata nitoe topic ya kwanza. Let me just brief you because umeingia late. First, tunaongea about BBC documentary yenye imehappen jana. What is your response to it? Then we had a picture here on the screen. We had a picture of Matiang'i, Martha Karua, Rigathi Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa, and all that crew walikuja together. So what is your opinion? Then you can also chime in with some of the commentaries that some members like Kevin, Royal Boy, and Nick, you can chime in and give your opinion.
Okay, Tony, I'm well guided and updated. So kwanza leo nimeona some minutes ago sijui Kasipul MP
has been shot dead. Ndio anaitwa Ngeno ama anaitwa nani? Ada vile tulielezewa na ule MP wa Madera, sijui anaitwa Bashir. You just forget him and move on. Okay, kuna hii issue ya the BBC documentary. Mi naona hii kitu inafaa ikuwe inachezwa after every 3 months ama 2 months. Wakenya wakienda kusahau inachezwa ingine. Wakienda kusahau kitu inachezwa. Hizi feelings na emotions tunafaa kuwa nazo hadi siku ya election. Lakini now, what alternative do we have? Sababu mimi I'm worried. Tutoe William Ruto, of which lazima tutamtoa, and that's our main goal, lazima aende. Huyu lazima tumtoe. Lakini alafu tuweke another dictator in the name of Matiang'i. I think Matiang'i hata tupea hii freedom tuko nayo hapa social media. Kama ni Matiang'i angekuwa president saa hii, na feel ni kama TikTok ingekuwa ishafungwa kitambo sana. These dictators kuna venye tunafaa kudeal na wao. Na tunafaa kudeal na wao kwa ballot. Sababu wanataka kutupeleka pale kwa 2 horse race. Ati tupate ni kama Matiang'i o Kalonzo or that is wa Munyoro against William Ruto. Of which hapo Kenyans will lose. Because either of them hakuna kitu atatupea, hakuna benefits. Hata tukipata benefits hii side ya Matiang'i inakaa iko na it will be better kidogo, lakini utapata hatutafika mahali tunafaa kuwa tumefika. What alternatives do we have? Hiyo ndio swali tunafaa kujiuliza. Hii kitu ya kusemanga tu kila siku must go. Lazima tukue tunajua must go ni sawa, ebu aende and he has to go. But what next? What are the alternatives we have? Lazima pia sisi tujifunze kujenga mtu. Nani huo tutajenga? Because we need a third horse. Na hii third horse ndio inafaa sisi tuwapee kura hadi tukue number 1. Tukue na hili hata tuende hiyo rerun. Lakini we need that third horse. Na mimi mtu hata niambia ati second horse Matiang'i is better than Ruto. Hawa si wanafanana. Hawa si tumeletewa hapa na wa colonialist. Hawa tumeletewa tu. Kama Matiang'i amekuwa kiwak na World Bank. Niliona nani huyu jamaa anaitwa nani? Huyu jamaa alikuwa anaendeangwa kwake na polisi kama 500. Akielezea juzi akisema anybody governors wenye wote tumekuwa na wao wa Central Bank wote hukuwa ameletwa huku na IMF ama World Bank, na lazima huo msee akuwe amefanya kazi kwa IMF ama World Bank. Na ndio unapata zile loans tunapata lazima zikuwe na interest ya juu, na tunapewa tukiwekewa, kwanza tunawekewa vikwazo ndio tuweze kupewa hizi loans. Na ndio IMF ndio ina control everything. Lakini sasa unapata hatuwezi jikomboa kwa hiyo minyororo kama bado tunapata Matiang'i mwenye anafanya kwa World Bank, na pia tuko na William Ruto mwenye ashaingishwa kwa system. What should we do? Hizi maswali mimi naona tu tunapiga makelele hapa, lakini hatujengi that alternative. Na hiyo ndio kitu ya maana tunafaa kuwa tunajenga saa hii. Hizi arguments mnaleta hapa ati sijui Ruto ati ni strong, sijui ni weak, sijui ni nini. Hizo zote hizo vitu hatufai kuwa tunadiscuss. No one is stronger than Kenya. Kama huyo MP maybe some 2 hours alikuwa na breathe, saa hii ha breathe. So anything is possible. So tusiseme ati huo sijui ako strong, sijui ataficha, sijui sword chini ya kitanda, sijui ataificha wapi, sijui nini. Hiyo ni upuzi. Those are non-issues. Hebu tuangalie the real issues. What do we want for Kenya? Wale wasi walikufa, maybe wanafikiria after walikufa pale parliament, maybe wanafikiria after that tulienda State House. Kwa nini tuliwa waste? Ati wao walikufa na sisi tukasahau, na tunajifanya like nothing happened. People lost their life because of this revolution. Lakini watu wengine wanaona ni ufara tu, of which Baba and the rest wali benefit. Lakini what about us? What about those people who lost their life? What about their families? So by the way, my heart inauma kuona watu wase wana discuss some big fish wako pale ni kama ni wao tulikuwa tunapigania.
Mzee tangu nikuje hapa. Mzee tangu ningie kwa hii platform Nimeuliza swali moja na nimeona kila mtu ameavoid. Mambo za siasa tunapiga vizuri. Nikiona mambo ya Matiang'i, nimeona watu na analyze vizuri. Nimeuliza tu swali moja. Watu tuko hapa. Kuna mtu aliona documentary ya BBC. What was the reaction? I don't know why members wana avoid that topic. I don't know if they cannot empathize ama wana prioritize.
Yeah, unapata ni kama wanataka hiyo kitu
because in
wanataka tuisahau.
Yeah, wanataka tuisahau haraka ishe, and in understanding that it's like ni kama either watu ni kama watu walienda kwa street, ni kama watu wengi wana understand kwa nini watu walienda kwa street. Ni kama sasa watu
exactly. Ni kama waliona waliachieve
politics ingine. So that is where I'm stuck with. Nimeweza swali almost everybody hapa hivi na ni kama I don't know, people are just gliding over because BBC documentary imetoa picha ya KDF, imeonyesha KDF ilikuwa na shoot watu, imeonyeshwa vile watu wako shootiwa live. Haikuwa ati stray bullet. Polisi anainama, anaweka knee on the ground, ana aim na anawachilia bullet and people are being fired. Now Marcus,
then unapata wajinga wengine, the government bloggers wanajaribu kuleta kiatu ingine hapo, sijui the imposter mwenye alinaswa last week, wanajaribu kufananisha hiyo picha na yeye ndio like the imposter ndio alifanya that mess. Hiyo upuzi tunajaribu kucheza huko. Hebu tukue smarter than them. Si ati after hiyo revolution yote, after people lost their lives, then tunakuja hapa tunaanza ile upuzi ya Wamunyoro, sijui Raila Odinga, sijui Matiang'i, sijui Ruto. Hiyo ni upuzi.
Kitu imeniuma sana roho, na nimeshindwa mbona watu wajiongelea. Mimi nimeshinda the whole day tangu nione documentary. Nashindwa nalala na amka nashindwa. Sasa mtu anatokaje kwa hawa asubuhi anaenda maandamano, ama saa zingine kwa maandamano alikuwa tu job akapitia kwa excited kidogo akaenda kwa street, then polisi anatana na ikani, then anashoot mtu, then hakuna consequences. Imagine this is a country that no police has seen the cold cell of jail. Remember, more than 60 people walikuwa fell on the street. Githurai waliuliwa more than 400, nasikia more than 400 people. Nasikia body zingine zilichukuliwa zikapelekwa zikawekwa intern, zile kuchomwa sijui nini, zilichomwa zikwa nini. Then I don't know how Kenyans just live past that and become normal.
Wait, Tony.
Here you go ahead, Nick. I hear you. Go ahead.
I wanted to interject. Ukisema 400 people walikufa, I think let's try to be factual so that we should not whip emotions. Ukisema 400 people were killed, I think it would be logical if there were some people who came wakasema our family members are missing. But ukisema tu 400 people ni watu wengi sana. So I think we should be factual in terms of stating facts so that we should not be whipping emotions.
Nick, I'm not denying that facts needs to be brought on the table. I want to challenge the numbers that you know. I want to challenge that maybe 60 people are dead, and I want to assure you that even one person dying is not a small number. You will agree with me. At least not because of politics. Maybe waenda wajitolewa inge kwa jeshi wakabiliane, ama kukue na ile flu kama COVID, wakidediwa it's okay, but not because of mtu alienda kwa street akademand right yake kauliwa. Now there were ile dump site ilikuwa wapi, ile ya sijui Utawala somewhere there, where bodies walikuwa zimetolewa zilikuwa mutilated, including some of them walitoka na bado Colgate kwa macho na nini. Then there were a number of unclaimed body kwa nini. There were a lot. Ilikuwa na amount up to 100 pale hii mochari ya Nairobi. So this thing happened between when Gen Z protest started until the other time. Then I just want to give you statistics how things happen and zinakuwa swept under the carpet. in the guy, then were many. People in Githurai will testify the kind of nini they suffered during that time. So nikisema numbers were more, maybe they are not 400, but they were more than that, more than the number stated. So it's not up to you to say whether I'm saying whether I'm exaggerating or not, because if there's a proper judicial inquest, you will be surprised that maybe the number are even more, because there is no proper judicial inquest. We don't know. We don't even know how the former CDF chief of defense force mwenye alikufa just kwa hewa anapanda ndege na kufa. We don't know even those facts. So you cannot deny, you cannot claim with authority that you have more better number than me. I want you to be, that's the point I want you to be clear about.
Denying that facts. I was just trying to tell you that, for example, if we were 400 wamekufa on one particular or for a particular period of, for example, let's say a week, sindio? Watu wamekufa, and these people have family members. You want to tell me that our family members, people can just die and then the family members cannot just come up and say, we have lost this person, this person, this person, this person. Like they just remain silent. Like they don't have friends. That these people goes missing, now friends always come and then when I raise the issues. That's what I was trying to
So Nick,
raise.
I want to inform you again. Have government ever produced an OB of the missing persons in Kenya since June 25th? That's question number one. I want you to answer me yes or no. No.
Right.
So if there is likely that more members are missing, you may never know, right?
But at least watu wangekuwa wanasema our family members is missing.
Nick, I'm taking you step by step. I want to assure you. I want to assure you that hiyo tajiri tumechukua, you cannot stand it.
I think Nick is
because number one.
Nani?
Let me answer
Nick is confused. Wenye walikufa Shakahola, kwa tumeelezewa before that kuna watu wamekufa Shakahola.
Yeah, in fact hata mimi ndio swali nilikuwa nauliza.
Hatukuwa
Nick, nimeuliza swali, wenye walikufa Shakahola before tukuje. Exactly. Hatukuwa tunajua, lakini after walipatikana wamekufa, ndio family members walianza kujitokeza. So that means maybe kuna watu wameandikisha OB for lost people, lakini sisi hatujui, and the government haijaleta any audit ya kusema that watu fulani, kama saa hii unajua zile OB ziko za watu wenye wamepotea, maybe they run in thousands.
And lakini sisi the reason in ya Rivayala, the Rivayala bodies were discovered. Did the government or family members report? The only thing is nicknamed you are supposed to understand is kuna family members who wanna communicate even 2 years, even there are some they are not even communicating. So even you may realize your own cousin has died. Na ujui. We have extended families wenye hatujawahi ongea na wao for years. Kidogo tu ikikuwa discovered ndio unaitwa tu come to mortuary, there is one of your family members amekufa. So hii maneno ya kusema hii maneno ya kusema maybe at some family members can report hiyo I may not
exactly. Even Nick, hebu tembea ile police station hapo kwenu uangalie kuna watu wangapi wako recorded as lost. Utapata hakutakosa msee amerekodiwa as lost.
Just to go end that up KU moja.
Yeah, then
there are some people
watu wengi wa Nairobi ni wako. Exactly. Na Nairobi sio hapa.
Wacha tuende tunampea tu chance aende hapa.
Nelson ngoja kidogo. Niko na swali moja tu Nelson. How many street children ama watu na live homeless within Nairobi city do we know? And we have record of?
There are many. In fact, even some of we don't know where they came from. We don't know the parents.
Lakini hatuna records.
hatuna records, and in fact even there are some of my relatives in Nairobi, even I don't know they are my relatives. Some walienda wakazaa wakakaa Nairobi, wamelea watoto wamekuwa kubwa. You see that communication, but until after umesikia one of your family member amekufa ndio unakuja kushtuka kumbe huyu ndiye aliuawa. It becomes like a shock. So I was arranging nickname wacha ende hii mochari aone there are some many bodies all over there, mpaka wale watu mochari wanashindwa hawa watu watawachukua wapi. Wanamaliza kuwachukua Lang'ata Cemetery because they don't have the record of their relatives. Just look at Lang'ata Cemetery, watu wangapi wako huko na we don't have the records.
So Nick, tumekuinform na tukisema kitu, we are not speaking from hot air, we are speaking from maybe kuna information najua hata sisema hapa hivi because maybe I don't have direct evidence and I don't want the lawback kama repercussion of it. But if we speak, my friend, if you dig deeper, if you are really interested to know the numbers, you will be surprised. Ile kitu tunafo challenge government now, we need a proper judicial inquiry yenye imebeba United Nations and all the other international body to do the forensic research of how many people lost their life before 20th and leading up to maybe the end of June. Mambo ya politics, you will be amazed, you will be surprised.
So Tony, it is still not making sense. For example, let me just give you a little an example. For example, I have my friends, India. Then I disappear for some times. It can be friends or family members. You want to say that there's no family members when friends or family members when I try to find out where I am. If I just disappear.
Nick, I think you are getting nuisance. After umejua huo mtu amepotea, you go and report to the nearest police station. Then issue inaishianga kwa police station. Sio kila mtu ako social media atakuja aseme that Nick amepotea na hatumuoni. So sisi ndio tunabaki kwa giza sababu we don't know those people. Lakini maybe their family members washa record kwa police station. Hiyo ndio unaelezewa. Maybe they are those OBs. Lakini sio kila mtu atakuja Facebook ati aseme sijui kila mtu akuja TikTok, sijui X aseme sijui so and so amepotea. That is the issue. Na mtu akipotea leo inaweza take hata a week or 2 weeks before watu wao wajue huo mtu amepotea. I think hiyo ni kitu unafaa kuelewa. So sio kila mtu ati unapata ati atakuja hapa kwa Dawak watu waseme sisi kuna watu 20 tunajua wamepotea. Ni watu wangapi wanajua Dawak Media? Kama sasa hapa naona tuko 22 out of a population of 50 million.
Unajua ile kitu watu tunafaa kurequest Unaona kama vile infotrack inayochukuanga tuseme maoni. At least kama tunaweza request kama nini moja kama nini kampuni moja kama infotrack izunguke Kenya mzima ikiuliza kama kuna watu wamepotea. Hiyo polisi hawatatuambia. Hawezi tuambia.
Exactly. Labda tufanye kitu kama hiyo. Lakini pia ujue watu 200 or 400 or even 1,000 out of a population of 52 million. Hiyo kitu ni kidogo sana. That is 0.000 something.
Yasa inauma familia.
Hii Nairobi na Githurai. Na unajua wasi wengi walikuwa wametoka Juja, Thika, Ruiru, si ati walikuwa wa Githurai. Ni watu wakitoka town wakipita Githurai because people were walking on foot. Lakini Nick uko Nairobi ama uko wapi wewe? Sababu inakaa unaangalia ni kama Githurai is a village. Mahali kila mtu alizaliwa hapo, watu wanajuana. These people walikuwa on transit. Walikuwa wanatoka tao maandamano, wanarudi home. Na watu walikuwa naenda hadi Thika, watu wengine wa JKUAT, watu wengine wa MKU, watu wengine wa KU, watu wengine wa Kinazitech University. People were walking on foot sababu barabara zilikuwa zimefungwa na hakuna gari zilikuwa zinabeba. Githurai is not a village. Hii ni mahali cosmopolitan. Kuna watu wametoka Kisumu. Kuna mtu hata alitoka Kisumu na hata hajawahi piga simu nyumbani for the last 1 year. So hizi ni vitu unafaa kuelewa. So mtu amekufia Nairobi, familia yao imereport OCHA. Unaelewa? So this is a complicated issue. Hata hatufai kuwa tunaidiscuss. Hebu kwanza to discuss how wase wenye walikufa, kina Rex na the rest, how wase walikufa, have their families been compensated? Then wase, kwa nini tunawa waste? Sisi tunakuja hapa makelele yenye it is bearing no fruit. Sisi tunafaa tujue what next after this. Tutaweka Matiang'i na yeye akuja afunge TikTok tukosange hata kupatana hapa kwa dawaka? Ama tutafanya nini?
One thing hata tufai kuongelelea siasa ya nani ataingia. Tunafaa kujua hata mwenye ataingia atakuwa puppet tu, na wanakujanga wanajoin colonizers. Hapa hakuna kitu tunajikoboa, tunapiganga tu siasa hapa. Lazima tukoboe Afrika, na hii ndio time tunaweza koboa. Mi sijui kwa nini watu wana nini, na ndio okay, sisemi BBC imenini, lakini walijua kuna maandamano ya Traore leo Afrika, na wakaona Kenya ndio inaongozanga, ndio capital city ya Afrika. So walijua hii ni karata wanapaganga, wanakaanga, kukienda hivi tutafanya nini. Kuna watu wameajiri wa kutengeneza tactics za kuchezea wa Afrika. Msikawai jikoboa, tutaishi hapa tu, tutaishi hapa. Mwenye ataingia hata akiwa mzuri aje, hata nidawaka ataingia, atachukuliwa na puppet, atachukuliwa na colonizer, apewe nini threat, itabidi afuate hivyo. Sisi tukiwawa huku ICC, by the way, hizi mambo za ICC na mambo hizi zingine watu kunakuwa na human rights, hizo ni za watu wenye si puppet wa colonizers. Hivi wewe ni puppet, hakuna mahali utaonana na ICC. Na kama utaonana nayo ni after sasa wamemalizana nawe miaka 10 imeisha, uwezi chaguliwa tena. Sasa hawana haja na wewe tena. Sasa hapo ndio wanakuchukua, ndio wafunge macho ati wanawafikirianga. Hakuna kitu wazungu wanatufikirianga for real. Hakuna haja ndugu zangu na dada zangu, hakuna haja ukidungwa na mwiba kwa mguu, hakuna haja ya kutibu kidoda na mwiba haujatoa iko ndani. Kidoda utakuwa unatibu, hiyo mwiba inalipuka tena, kidoda inatoka. Ama ukuwe na ile boil usipofinya ile nini ya ndani, hiyo kabegu inakuanga ndani itoke. Utakuanga tu unakaa, hiyo nini boil inarudi. Hii boil yetu ni nini? Hii boil yetu ni tukujikoboe Afrika, na hii ni time yenye tunaweza jikoboa. Na hata tushinde hapa tukingangana, hata tuweke nani, na nawaambia Mungu moja, hii ni kitu tulipangiwa, tutaishi hapa. Na hata mkiuawa muoe wangapi, kama hata mkiuawa muoe 5,000 vile nani alikuwa anasema angeua jenzi 5,000 nani huyu Oria. Kama mwenye anawaua ni puppet, anashirikiana na wao, hakuna mahali atapelekwa. Hata human rights hakuna mahali atapelekwa, as long as anacooperate na colonizers. So lazima tujikoboe hapa. Juu sisi ni kama vile unauanga inzi, tunauawa Afrika kama vile hawana haja na sisi, wako na haja na zile minerals zenye ziko Afrika. Wako na haja tu 1%, mimi nasemanga 1% ndio tunafeed tukiwa 90%. Tukiwa 99%. Na hakuna kazi wanakaanga chini kutengeneza tactics tu. Tuishi tukiwa feed na familia zao na watu wao. Sisi tukiwa 99%. Ukiamuka wewe si watoto wako unawatafutia wale 1%. So kabla hii yote tutaishi hapa hata tuweke nani, tutaishi hapa. Yes.
Hebu eleza audience wetu zile Ibrahim Traore hizi na zile development ameleta kwa nchi, na kwa nini watu the West want to bring him down. Ndio watu understand what kind of leadership we need in Kenya yenye itatolea hizi kasumba zote za neocolonialism.
Shida unyenye wanataka ku-eliminate Traore ni moja. Kitu ya kwanza wamekataza natural resources zitoke kwa nchi yake. Mining zote amefunga. Zenye France wameishi wakiharvest kwao. France hawana any mineral kwao, hawana dhahabu, hawana nini, hawana cobalt, hawana nini, zote zinatoka Afrika. Hakuna, China hawana hizo zote. Westerners hawana anything without Africa. Nchi yote, dunia yote hakuna. Wanategemea sisi. Na ndio ulisikia nani wakisema, Western wakisema, kama wataashiria Afrika, future watoto wao watakuja kupiga magoti Afrika. So hawezi ashiria Afrika. So lazima tujikoboe. Tutaishi hapa. Tutaishi miaka nenda miaka rudi. Tafadhali tujikomboeni kwanza Afrika. Juu hata tukiweka hata wewe na Tony tukikuweka, utaenda pale watakudhreaten na familia yako, itabidi uingie line yao ukue wanataka minerals gani, lazima uingie na watakuambia sasa wewe umetujoin. Sasa wewe unapewa peanuts. Unatuua kama inzi. Hata kama ni wewe Tony tukuchague kama president, utaingia tu hapo. Na utaingia upende liwe liwalo utaingia. Pale kunataka mtu kichwa. Labda tujikomboe. Vile Traore sasa ako sahi. Tuseme enough is enough. We can manage our resources. Natural resources. We can manage. Na sisi ndio matajiri dunia mzima. Sisi ndio hufeed dunia nzima. Afrika ndio hufeed dunia mzima. Muliletewa Biblia mukapeana nini? Minerals zenyu. I don't know how to. Mimi naona watu wakibishana ni kama wako too brainwashed. Wanafaa kufunguka. Watu wafunguke. I feel pain. Hebu tujikoboeni. Watu wafunguke macho. Tuache kuzunguka hapa. Tuache unajua tunaendanga wakitaka saa hii hawezi taka mobilize Africa. Wataleta vitu. Hizo za BBC wataleta ingine. Wanatumia akina Mwangi, wanatumia watu wengi. NGO hizi zinatumika. Ndio tuishi pale. Tusijajaruke. Yani tuishi hapa. Hawa ni ticks bana.
Na kuelewa venye unasema, lakini that can only work if we empower mtu kama Traore, because Africa need to be one. Lazima Africa hizi borders tumeweka huku lazima zikwe zote zimetolewa. We have to be united because a country like Kenya, we are the poorest in Africa. Kuna countries ziko na gold na other minerals. Kuna countries zinaweza support.
Wamesmuggle kutoka Afrika.
Exactly. Hebu angalia country kama Libya. US iliingilia Libya ikitaka, Gaddafi akitaka kuunganisha one united Africa. Gaddafi alikuwa anasimamia AU yeye peke yake. Lakini US iliona this guy kuna venye anaenda na huyu jamaa anaweza unite Africa, na waki-unite Africa the rest of the world imesuffer. So I think huyu jamaa Traore tunafaa kumwangalia na macho ya udani sana.
Wameconfess wakiashiria Africa, future ya watoto wao watakuja kupiga magoti Africa. Wameconfess. So we have to be
walikuja huku wakatugawa countries tudogo na wakatupea majina na wakaweka borders na waka make sure every country iko na soldiers wake, and that is what we don't need. We don't need those borders. Tunafaa tuwe one global Africa, a united Africa. I think ndio tufike hapo, we have kwanza to empower this Traore, because we must have a leader. Lazima tukue na kiongozi, then hawa wengine they must worship him for now.
Hizi borders unajua waliweka kwa nini? Wakati wanapiga, tuseme wanapiga Kenya, Uganda haiwezi ingilia. Wakimalizana na Kenya wataenda Rwanda, hatuwezi ingilia. Hiyo ni vita na hatuwezi ingilia ni nini naendelea, hatuwezi jua ni nini naendelea. That's why waliweka borders. Ndio wakimaliza na minerals zenyu wanaenda kwa hiyo ingine. Wakimaliza hiyo ingine wanaenda hiyo ingine. That's the meaning of the borders. Ndio msikue kitu moja. Yes. Ndio msikue kitu moja.
you've touched, umeguza tu point mzuri sana, nimesema ni
King
dakika
na
chache
nani,
za
niko na
kuzungumza, wacha
swali.
niseme mawili
Niko
matatu.
na
Unasikia?
okay, ongea Rembe.
Nilikuwa nataka kusema tu kitu mawili matatu ambayo umesema na sina muda mrefu. Una kinachoendelea sasa hivi duniani kilifanyika tena miaka in the 1960s. Na wakati huo baada ya vita ya dunia ya pili, mainchi yao ya Europa na Amerika walikuwa wameanza kupungukiwa na fedha. Wakaona kwamba hawezi kuende, they cannot continue with their colonies. So they gave us independence, which was not really independence. They saw the ball was leaving their court. They could not put up with the pressure of the whole of Africa asking for independence. It was an organic force that hata kama nchi yenu hamkuwa mnataka independence, ilikuwa lazima mpate independence. Mpaka hata South Africa in the 1990s. It was impossible. It's an immense political pressure. It's a demographic and economic change that was happening in the world. And they noticed that and they took advantage of us because they thought we were blind and we could not see what they were doing. Nanelo. The same thing is happening now, but it's happening a bit quietly than it happened in the 1960s. Nataka kuambia kwamba hii Gen Z movement, the Gen Z maandamano, haikuwa an accident. It was inevitable. It was going to happen. And it was happening because it's already started happening throughout Africa. Unaona country kama Ghana, unaona country kama Burkina Faso, Botswana, all those countries are taking back their mineral resources. They're taking back their sovereignty not because they want to, not because they can, but because they have to. Ni kwamba force, there is a political force, hegemony that's happening. That always happens. And those people who realize it and hone it are the ones who benefit from it. Bahati yetu sasa ni kwamba sasa sisi wote tumeamka. Hata kama sisi wote tumeamka, wengi wetu tumeamka. Na kwamba hatutaangukia baya mambo ya kitambo. Unajua tumesema kwamba, nasikia ukisema kwamba it is inevitable that the next person who's going to be sitting on that chair is going to be a puppet. But it's not inevitable. Ni kwa sababu, unajua kwa nini nasema hivyo? Ni kwa sababu ukiwa 1960s, ungeona kilichokuwa kiliendelea katika nchi nyingine wakipata mamlaka yao, ungekuwa unasema the same thing. But kama ungekuwa umefungua macho, you could be able to see what's happening. You can say, oh, why is that person being, held up? Why is that person, going to that meeting? Look at the itineraries of where people were, when, why, who are they doing? Who are they hanging out with? You can paint a good picture of what was going on. And if you were able to explain that to a common mwananchi, tungeenda sisi wenyewe tuseme, mbona huyu mtu anafanya hivyo? Tungeenda kujichukulia uhuru wetu without having the fake independence that we have had so far. Why am I saying that right now? In Africa, the average age is about 19 years old. And I'm saying this because human resource is the most powerful determinant of a country's economic trajectory. Kama mkuna watu wachanga wengi, the amount of productivity that you're capable of is immense. Why am I saying that? If you look at a place like, and I always bring this point up because it's something that surprised me. The average age of a soldier fighting right now in Ukraine and Russia on the eastern side of Ukraine is 44 years old. 44. They don't have young people. You come here to America, millennials ni wengi, Gen Z ni wachache. Ni kumaanisha kwa na wazee wamejaa, and people are living longer and longer. So the whole community has been turned upside down. There are fewer young people and very many old people, and that's why you're seeing them scrambling to grab as much resources as possible. And then by resources, I mean in your power and effort. They're trying to pre-purchase your labor before you even start working. That's why you're seeing Kenyans being shipped to Qatar and it's the countries, because That's the first step. You're getting sent to those countries because countries like India have caught on and they're building their economies internally, so people are not living as much as possible as they used to. Ni kumaanisha kwamba sasa hivi ukiona wanapiga deals, what they're trying to do is pre-purchase our labor as Kenyans or as Africans, pre-purchase our resources so they can be able to continue the global status quo. Na ukiangalia mambo imekuwa ikiendelea in the last few, since the finance bill na Ruto, unaona kweli kabisa the Western world is washing their hands off him. Yeah. What I expect next is Riggy, probably BBC interview with talking to them about what's going on with M23 and Sudan, and that'll be the last nail in the coffin. And kumaanisha kwamba na hii mambo ya Narok, ni kumaanisha kwamba Ruto hawezi kupita 2027. Itakuwa ni vigumu sana. It's never say never in politics, but it's going to be very hard for him. But what does that mean? That means us as Kenyans now, we have an opportunity ya kujiuliza, tujiulize nani ndio anaweza kuwa, who is going to be the leader. Instead of asking us who amongst those people, we should be asking ourselves, what kind of characteristics do we want in a leader? And then, while you're doing that, discuss about what kind of characteristics do you want to be as a citizen. What does the government owe me? Nimezungumza kuhusu barabara, hospitali, shule, usalama. But also, what do I owe the government? And by the government, I mean my fellow Kenyans. Because at the end of the day, the government is a tool we use as Kenyans to serve each other, to be able to build that road, to build that school, to build that hospital for each other. Lakini kama wewe mwenye Kenya unafikiria kwanza tumbo lako. Yeah? So that's what I'm saying. It will first start with us looking at ourselves. You don't mind paying that extra $50 or 50 shillings kwa hongo, you expedite something, passport, ama nini. Eh? If you're paying those things, that means you're propping up the system. So you have to think of it from that point of view. Kwamba inabidi tukiangalia nani ambaye tunataka ingia hapo, tumwangalie mtu ambaye atatupatia sisi wana Kenya the confidence kwamba serikali inatujalia sisi. Ni kwamba nikimwona serikali amefanya hichi, nikimshtaki haitapotelea hapo. Na that's just the basic of what it means to be a citizen in the country. Coming back to the BBC documentary, I didn't watch it. I have not been able to watch it. I've never been able. Sijaweza kupata nguvu ya kuwatch hiyo kitu. Kwa sababu niliona live online, and I could not watch it again. That's re-traumatizing. Maybe at some point I'll gather myself. But where I'm going with this is, serikali hapa inakomesha kwamba, what does it mean to be a Kenyan? Kwamba unaweza kuuawa na serikali na hiyo kesi ishia hapo na ishia hapo. Na unaona in the parliament today they were saying we sympathize with you. We don't want sympathy, we want justice. That's what it means to have a country. If something happens, you want to be made whole again, or you want somebody to be held responsible. That way you know it's not going to happen again. And that's why I'm saying it is a very dangerous precedence that the way they're setting, that the government can get away with killing our citizens, ourselves. Last year when they started doing abductions, the police commander came out and said, oh, we don't know who's doing the abductions. That was according to our constitution, them abdicating their duty to provide security to you. So that means wewe wenyewe unabidi sasa uanze kutafuta bunduki. Sababu huwezi kutegemea serikali itakulinda na kupatia usalama. Yeah? Those kind of things can easily tear down a country. And that's why I understand what Kevin was saying. But you have to take a step back and look at it from the big picture. Kwamba huu mwendo ambao tunaenda nao, this movement, sio ya Kenya tu, ni nchi yote, dunia yote, Kenya and the whole Africa is looking at us right now. We are the next ones. Na tukiwa faili, we're going to fail not only Kenyans, but all the other countries who are looking up to us and saying,
Arambe, can I just say something 1 minute? Yes. Arambe, can I support you 1 minute? I wanted to say the example point unasema. I want to tell people, I want to tell you without fear of contradiction. If we liberate Kenya, ladies and gentlemen, we may liberate Africa. If we liberate Kenya, if we break this system, if we take all these people, if we liberate Kenya, the next country, guess what, inaenda kuwa liberated ni Nigeria. That means if we liberate Kenya, tume liberate East Africa. If Nigeria is liberated, tume liberate West Africa. Na Sahel ishamalizika. Hii South Africa itakuwa ni additional, my friend.
Right.
So, tumesema is very, very important. And that's the biggest point I wanted to say. If Kenya is liberated, tumeanza revolution Africa.
I agree.
But-
And I'm going to
but
wrap up here.
before-
Now, let me wrap up Mwambie kitu ya mwisho. The reason why I'm saying all these things, the reason why I'm saying mentioning this is because the reason why all these things are happening is because of the amount of potential that is in Africa, that is in Kenya, that is the amount of mental and just skilled labor that's primed for the economy of the future, not the economy of today, but the economy of the future of people who are online. Look at us. We're here online doing this. You know, I'm pretty sure there's probably other people who are doing the same thing, but this was unheard of, you know, just a few decades ago. Lakini Wakenya wameamka na tuna nguvu sana. We have all the wealth and knowledge, okay, to be a superpower in Africa, to be even a global superpower. And I'm saying this because at one point, Kenya used to lend money to South Korea because South Korea was so poor. But look at where South Korea is today. It's because they were able to kick out their dictators and put in leaders who were there to build their country, like what is happening in Ghana. I'll close with an example of the cocoa industry in Ghana. Cocoa industry in Ghana, 75% of the cocoa in the world is produced in Ghana, but it was they were buying it so cheap from the farmers that they could not find laborers to hire to pick the coconut. So they have to get slave children from neighboring countries to come and pick cocoa, to the point where it became a problem that manufacturers have to tell people if their cocoa has been picked with slave labor. But what did they do? They brought their processing plants from Switzerland and they started building them in Ghana. And now they're doing the value add processes in Ghana and not just selling the raw materials. And now instead of keeping 6% of the total value of what they were producing, they're keeping 40, 50% of the value. And it's throwing the whole chocolate industry in havoc. And now we're actually getting like new and interesting flavors and new interesting products from the cocoa industry because one president decided, no, instead of us just making this and sending raw material and having our farmers being paid peanuts, let's make what they're doing there here. Let's incentivize people to build here. And simple thing like that change a country. So do not despair. Do not say that we don't have a way out of this. Tuko nayo. Tukifungua macho na tuungane sisi wa Kenya tuseme kwamba hatutaki mambo ya tumbocrats, tutaki watu ambao wanaenda hapo kujilisha, na tuache kuongea kuhusu nani ambaye, which of these old people who have been here since we were children is going to be the next leader. I promise you, like in every revolution, the leader is out there in the wilderness. Our job is to be like John the Baptist, to clear the way for him. And how do we clear the way for him? We make sure that everybody understands what their rights are as a Kenyans. What does it mean to do civic education? Understand what their right is to be a Kenyan, understand what the government owes them, and understand what they owe their fellow Kenyans. And when we do that, we have no limit of where we can be as Kenyans. Nakwambia tutakuwa mbali sana. Mbali sana. Okay.
Harambe, quick question
Yes,
for you.
yes.
Ni swali tu nimuulize.
Okay.
Harambe, do you think what Ghana did as Kenyans, there's a lot of slavery when it comes to coffee and tea picking and processing, systems.
Right.
Do you think we could adopt the same thing? That way our coffee